Teams, this is Race Control. We are now ready to begin the race session. We will commence in 2.5 minutes. 2 minutes and 30 seconds until race.
Hello guys, we are back live on air. Just trying to set up stuff on our end now. Race will be starting in a couple minutes time. I'm going to be joined by a couple of co-commentators today, so for the sake of trying to test out this mic, we have a little introduction for you.
Good afternoon, Michael Bosman, Virtual Motorsport. Trying to help Jimmy a little bit today.
Michael on the left and then on the right we have
Marcel Bosman, nephew of Michael, older nephew.
older nephew.
Also Virtual Motorsport and not driving this year but helping out Jimmy.
So there you go, we have these guys helping out today. We do have another headset that has some audio in it, so if you want to have that, but otherwise it's all in here. Race will be starting very shortly. Drivers are doing their last little bit of preparation now, getting onto the server. Race Control, just making sure things are
okay. Guys, this is Race Control. We've had a technical problem for one of the teams, so they are beginning of the race by 5 to 10 minutes. I'll give you an update as soon as I know anything more.
Well, there you go then, just from Lasse there. Race Control, a little bit of a delay.
And of course, all of you, please stay on the server.
Not quite sure what's happening there. Yeah, both might be a little bit quiet. We'll sort it out as we go. It's tricky to get the mix right, especially when we have this sort of microphone here. So then, we have 24 hours, gentlemen.
Yeah.
24 hours of what I'm sure will always be. It's always good racing here at the GTR 24. Have either of you guys you've driven here before?
3 times.
3 times. Okay, so
2013, last year with GTR 2.
Mm-hmm.
2014, first year with R Factor 2, and 2014.
So would you?
15, sorry, yeah.
What would you say is the key to getting through one of these races?
Preparation, of course, and determination. Never quit. Always keep on going. Whatever happens, if you have some issues or traffic on track, whatever, just keep on going. Never quit.
Exactly. That's what we're going to do. That's the way of getting through these 24-hour races. I've only ever completed one 24-hour race in my time, and I killed half the field in the first lap. So that's how you do that.
That's not good.
No, it wasn't ideal.
That was in the early years of your career, or?
Yeah. It was last year.
That's why you're sitting here.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Not downstairs.
I'm not allowed here. I'm banned.
I'm calling you out. If you don't want to do this next year, you can drive with us here.
There you go. So if I don't commentate, I can go crash. Go and drive in their car as well. There you go.
I've seen you drive sometimes. You can do it pretty good.
Sometimes. So then, race coming up. Most of the teams are ready. I'm not sure of the team that had the technical error. Lasse? Who was it that had technical error? So team...
Oh, rare.
That was rare, the 113 car. We saw them having some issues in practice as well, with X in the pit lane in quite a fun and fast fashion. But just waiting for those to come back in, and then we'll start. So we'll take that opportunity to appease our sponsors. We'll be back in a second.
Hello everybody, this is Race Control. Issue is now resolved and we are ready to go. We are entering the race session in 1 minute. 1 minute until the beginning of the race session. Advancing to race session now.
Imagine a viewing experience so real. You're not only trackside, you're inside. Meet Butt Kicker, a simple wireless device that takes just seconds to install. Breakthrough technology that shakes your couch and rocks you without any additional volume. Experience the thrill.
Grid, guys, you have 20 seconds. Join the grid.
Go to shakemycouch.com right now to see a special offer for race fans. Don't just watch.
10 seconds. Innotek C2, please join. Beginning of the formation lap. Please be aware it is very wet. Single file, no swerving, no brake checking allowed. And sorry, my mistake, it's not wet at all, that was just a bug.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome in. Formation lap starting. Latter in the background having a good time. We have our safety car taking the guys around on their formation lap, being led away by the Thrustmaster Musto car. David Greco at the wheel of that now with Simtech Motorsport car, and the Endurance Racing number 88 behind in third place in class. Then in our GTs we have the 89 Grippo car leading dominant display in qualifying, followed by GGTL and Team Bernie Racing. Now, you guys are endurance experts. I pretend to be an endurance expert, so
I also pretend.
we're all pretend endurance experts. Yeah. So, for me, when I start one of these races, I always practice different from what I preach, but it's just about getting into a rhythm. You can lose 3 or 4 spots at the start, doesn't matter, because you have such a long race ahead of you. What you don't want to do though is on the Mulsanne straight is cut someone off and then take out half the field. You don't want to be doing that because that's a silly move and only idiots would do
that. Yeah. If nobody saw it, he was pointing to himself. No, you don't want to do that. I think everybody is a bit anxious now for the first few laps, and when you get in a rhythm, then everything should be okay. Everybody practiced a lot here for this event, so.
For those who don't know, up until I went to sleep about 2 AM last night, and that was late for me. And there were still people down there practicing. They're still doing all their work down there. People trying to put their rigs together, get them to work. It is truly you put a lot of time and effort into this, and thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We have nearly 420 people here right now, which I could make a joke about, but I'm not going to. So if you are enjoying the stream, make sure to hit like on the YouTube video, share it around. This is the only event of its type in all of Europe, I would say, even the world. But I don't know about the US too much. But where the guys bring their rigs along, they all get together. They've got their own little tents down there, which we'll be walking around a bit later on, trying to get some interviews down there. And we're going to be covering the entire thing. I've got not very much coffee left. I think this is my coffee. Is this my coffee? Well, okay, yeah. Oh, I gotta say, guys, the Danish coffee isn't too good here. Danish coffee, no, sorry.
I don't drink coffee, but Michael had some on the way, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
it was,
That was the German coffee.
It wasn't
German.
Sorry to our Danish viewers.
So guys, the
German coffee's good.
the coffee views of our staff do not reflect that of GTR 24 hours. We see the cars now just making their way down the Mulsanne straight behind the safety car. It's really interesting because we have the safety car driver just over to the right of us. He's driving around right now, and he's been practicing since his early attempt because his first exit out of the pit lane resulted in the crash. I think luckily now he's got it. He's got it going now. Now the first lap, I always feel, because a lot of the time I end up starting these endurance races. When you're on the first lap, you're sitting there, you're nervous. You know, it's not a fear. It's like an anticipation. You want to get going. You want to start driving. You've been practicing for so long, and then you come to this point where you're just sort of driving around and just waiting. And I find this bit to be one of the toughest parts of the race, especially at Le Mans where the pace lap is about 6-7 minutes long.
Yeah, you just want to go and get on with it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there are some people that maybe didn't qualify on the position that they wanted to or expected to.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they want to gain some places early on in the race. Maybe even in the first lap or the first corner.
So what we'll do
Should
is
be fun to watch.
we'll go in between with the tower, because as you said, there is a lot of tower on the screen right now, so we'll pop it up every now and then. We've got our timing here, we can show it to you guys as well, because we want to try and put on as decent a stream as possible. If you do have any recommendations, be it for sound, of course we're doing the best we can with the equipment we have right now, then let us know in chat. We are watching chat, we have it over to the right, hence the assist there, or the change of the tower. See the cars making their way now up towards Indianapolis. This is there are so many variables here at Le Mans. I mean, we saw at the start almost like it was a bug. There's a bit of sometimes get a bug in RF2 with the wet starts, but rain is something that we could be seeing here today, and there's quite a high probability. Again, you guys have been here a million times before. How have you found rain? I'm sure you've encountered it at some point, surely.
Very nice.
Yeah, you like the rain?
Rain, especially driving at night. It adds a little bit to it.
A bit of immersion to it. Okay.
Yeah.
What about the difficulty though? Because surely you're driving around and it becomes slippy. You can't see as well.
It's really difficult.
Yeah.
Funny that you would say that, but we had in the rain in the dark at night. We had our two side screens going black
Oh, okay.
because the input that was going to the screens was just too low. So the screens went to a screensaver mode. We were only driving in single screen.
In the dark, with rain,
in
one
the
single
rain.
screen,
So it was pretty
panic in the team.
panicking.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Also screaming.
Yeah. Wait, Michael.
So we've got a camera at the
But
moment.
I think rain is good because it's an equalizer.
Yeah, it can be, definitely.
Because there will be teams that set up the car for more grip. Some teams that just have it set up for less grip.
Mhm.
It equalizes everything.
Definitely. And here we come. Then to the Porsche curves. This is where now the jitters start becoming focus. With about half a minute left or so on this formation lap. And of course, David Greco at the helm of that Thrustmaster car. He's been here before. He's won this race before. Back, I think it was in 2013, maybe. I was talking to him earlier on, and I think that's what he said. So he's an old hand around here. Last time he drove with Morgan Moran. This time he's with his Thrustmaster teammates, leading away the Simtek car, who qualified second position. After, I think it was a bit of an appeal in the end because there was a discrepancy in their qualifying time. But they're up to P2. Now you see David just starting to back the pack up a little bit. Just starting to make himself a little bit of space as the safety car is about to peel off into the pit lane. And when that comes in, we will be go for the GTR 24 Hours 2017. Here we go then, lights ablaze as the car in front. Safety car still out at this point. I think it's going to peel off just in a second. Or is he going around again? No, he comes to the pits.
Green flag, green flag, green flag.
And there you go,
To the
we are
10th
go.
anniversary of the DTR 24-hour race.
It's a nice start there from the Thrustmaster team, getting a little bit of a jump. The top three cars actually pulling away from the rare cars up the top. They'll keep an eye on the GTs as well. As the Simtek goes for an early look up the inside there. Almost contact already. Don't want to be doing that at the start of a 24-hour race. A long way to go yet. down the S's for the first time. See other cars snake down. Fantastic view down there. The rare cars. Looks like one of the 113 rare had a bit of a tardy start, already a bit further off the back there. I can see in the background that the Grippo Corvette has gone off to a good start as well. So those guys off nice and easily. And already we're having some sort of contact here as our autocam has moved on, or moved back, I should say, to the Aston Martin of Innertech C2. These guys are currently sitting, this is the number 166, so they are fourth in class, sorry, fifth in class even. Back to the head of the field now. You see that Simtech have a nice run on the Thrustmaster Musto car coming up to the first chicane. We're getting not the angle I want, thank you very much. There's the angle we want. Up in front, now coming up to the third chicane. Nice and tidy through here. Of course, this is the best time to actually get ahead of someone. You wouldn't want to usually say that, but you have the slipstream, you have the time. And this is where the cars are nice and close. On board then, with that Simtech car, you can see the slipstream starting to come into play now. Starting to get pulled back into the fray a little bit. The top three pulling away from the two red cars. That one free car had a pretty nasty start as the Corvette is still with it. Unsure as to why the camera still wants to go to that. Looking back, we want to see forward, we want to see what's going on here. Although we'll go with Mr. Greco. No, we won't. We'll leave it from there. Nice, clean start from the guys so far. Let's see if we can have a look a bit further down the field, shall we? See if the GT's got away. As it is the Grippo Racing car, currently driven by Casper Stoltz, who qualified did the fastest time with a 57.3, I think it was in the end for Casper. Autocam telling us that we want to go back again to the guys in front. We'll let it play out for now. There is the onboard. Looking back there, that is Luke Walsh at the wheel of that Simtech car. This is the closest battle on track right now, and luckily it is for first and second. Autocam is loving looking back at that helmet there for some reason. Might have to see if I can adjust that at some point. But coming down to Indianapolis, Luke Walsh all over the back of David Greco. But David Greco is an old hand, we said before. He's a previous race winner here. So I'm sure he's used to all of this sort of pressure. You can look out the window and you can see the guys battling it out, which is probably the coolest thing about being at this event. This Simtech car not falling behind the slipstream, definitely keeping him honest there. And there is, looking back just about, you can see the nameplates in the background. I thought we were in a car out then, but we don't. That's just a safety car in the pit lane. Team RRC currently heading up the back of the GT field, currently in P14. Having some issues with your camera here, guys, seeing that it's really enjoying going to the Simtech. If I can quickly just get that sorted out for you guys. I should probably unmute my microphone and start again, shall we? Right, okay. Ultimate professional broadcast there. Were you watching me do that? Were you like
No.
No? Yeah?
No,
Okay.
No.
Right.
I also didn't see it.
We're back. Okay. Well, like I was saying, sorry guys, we had a little bit of issue there with some auto camera, so I'm on manual camera right now. Hopefully we don't miss any of the action. But I was just saying, we have 560 people right now, which is absolutely awesome. So thank you guys for all being here. And of course, if you are enjoying the stream, hit the like button on YouTube, share it around with your friends, tell them that We are a bunch of really super cool dudes in Denmark are driving fake racing cars around Le Mans, and they'll know exactly what's going on. So, currently the Gripper car leading. Oh, that's loud. That's us on board with the Aston Martin. You see already the Gripper car has just left them. Already gone. Already gone. Ridiculous stuff right now. But then behind him though, he is taking the racing room car with him. There is, that is, behind at the moment as I pull out my spotter guide. What number is that? Number 29. That is Lasse Sorensen in the car right now, behind the DGTL car. They could have thought of a better name. That's very difficult.
Tongue breaker.
Yeah, tongue twister is what they call it. But a good start, a nice clean start. And that's the important thing around here. Of course, we traditionally, of course, you know, for these races, you do expect to have a larger field. But the difference is with the GTR 24, who've just joined us, is that these drivers are all here at this location. This is basically a big LAN party. All the guys down there driving right now, they've all come from across Europe. A lot of people from Denmark as well. We have an Irish team down there. They've got Dutch teams. Lots of really interesting people coming along. And they've not just come along themselves, they've brought their entire sim rig along. So they've brought all this stuff along. And what's that like? What's that like having to lug all your stuff down here?
Tell. First you have to tear everything down, then you have to bring it here, and then you have to put it up again.
Yeah.
Hope that everything works.
Just about.
Yeah. Do a 24-hour race, take it apart again and go home.
That's how you gotta do it.
Yeah. That's the beauty of this event. It's the atmosphere here. You know, having a separate room where all the drivers are. And you're not only racing somebody on track, but maybe it's the guy in the sim rig besides you.
Well, we were saying that earlier, that I remember speaking to Chris, one of the organisers, one of the drivers here today actually. I need to find his team name. Chris Johansson. I think it's actually in this car, the DGTL car, which is good. That's good to say. He actually won last year. He brought the trophy home from him in the car. He wasn't looking very happy handing it over, but he brought it home last year, and so I guess he's out to try and do the same again, but it's going to be difficult given that there are protos, of course, involved in this race. So, a couple of minutes down now, and this is where the drivers will be starting to calm down a little bit, starting to sort of get back into their rhythm. At the head of the field, we'll go back to our prototype. You see, it is still Simtech and Thrustmaster, although the endurance racing guys are hanging in there. I think they're all being sort of kept together by the straights at the moment, given that we have a lot of slipstream going on, a lot of ease of access. That's a big thing out here at the mod, is the slipstream, because you have so many long straights around here. That it sort of makes you wonder, how do you go around setting up your car? Because the easy option would be, right, take the downforce off and then we'll go fast. But of course, at the end of the circuit, you have arguably one of the most scary sequence of corners that's available in European racing, the Porsche curves. And that is something that likes downforce. You like to have downforce through there. So
yeah, but everybody can drive straight.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that Michael answered this one because he knows this part.
We've had many discussions about that. We've had people in our team which liked it to be very loose at the back and lots of less downforce, and we've had drivers who liked a lot of downforce and wanted it to go flat out through the corners. You have to find a balance between that. It's a matter of progress, making progress in the team, adjusting the drivers to each other, adjusting the car to the different drivers. It takes a long time.
That's something interesting.
It isn't easy.
That's something interesting as well. Actually, I think we've actually had an incident in the background there. Who was that?
I think it was at Arnage.
Oh no! So that's a GT car. Yes, it was Team RRC. We can't get the replay up on screen, or can we? We can. We're going to do it the horrible way. I know you guys don't like seeing this, but I want you to see the incident. Team RRC, that's John Fabricius' team.
Next corner.
Should be. Is it here? No, it's at the Porsche curves. It's up here. comes into the Porsche curves. Is he going to lock the wheel? No, he just gets a wheel in the grass and locks that tyre. I've seen him do it so many times. Rear comes around, hits the wall heavily. Rear wing done. I can see. I think John's in the car now. I can just about see him down there. He's back in the pits at the moment, so hopefully that will not be. Well, he's back out now, but not how you're going to be starting your race. Which is a shame for him, but I mean, if you're going to have a crash, I guess do it right at the start, because then you've got 24 hours left, but of course not ideal. I'm interested to see that these top 3 guys haven't really come apart yet. We still have the Thrustmaster car leading from the Simtech guy, Luke Walsh in the car for Simtech, and David Greco in the car for the Thrustmaster guys. I wanted to. You said about adjusting cars to different people. I mean, I run an endurance team, so I'm sort of used to that. But around here, I mean, what sort of adjustments do you make? Is it just brake bias you're changing, or just tyre pressures, or for when you're changing to different people?
It starts with the setup. Just look at mainly downforce levels and see what times everybody drives with which downforce level. You take the setup that is quickest overall for every driver.
Suits most.
Yeah. And during the race, only tire pressures if temperature changes a lot, and brake bias is a bit driver dependent. Normally, some people like it more at the front, some like it more in the back.
Yeah.
Just have to communicate that you changed it.
It's also the only thing
him,
which you can change during the race.
Only
brake bias. There is nothing else.
Okay.
You can adjust your suspension or what else.
I know a couple of mods allow you to adjust one end of the downforce. Usually, either it'd be the front downforce or the rear.
But it also takes time.
Yeah, it did.
So you can't do it every driver change, because it probably will lose. You will lose more time than you will gain on track, or even maybe lose track position.
Yeah, definitely. I remember we did a lot of setup around here for our Nissan, of course. Well, battle for 6th, okay. We've got a battle for 6th place, which is down in the GTs, I imagine. Well, here is 6th and 7th. It's DGTL and Racing Room. These guys come together early, and the thing is, when you get involved in these, especially when you're early and you've been raring to go all weekend, it's very easy to get drawn into these fights and end up making some sort of mistake, or maybe having some sort of contact. So, I mean, what I think we'll probably see is either Racing Room driving past in a straight line and GDTL giving it to them, or GDTL just getting out of the way, depending on who's faster in this situation. Because the last thing you want at this point is just to be going to have contact. Like this part of the race is, think of a 24-hour race as just setting up for the last stint. That's what a 24-hour race is.
Yeah, you have to be in the run in the last hour and just make sure you stay in the leading lap for the first 23 hours.
Yeah,
Sounds simple.
Easier said than done, isn't it? So we'll see if we can get a look back here. Yeah, looking back then from that DGTL car, the sound of the Aston Martin ringing in our ears, as it always does. You see, the BMW hasn't got much, even with a slipstream. It seems to have a little bit more downforce than this Aston, or just a little bit less top-end power. Of course, these cars aren't identical. There are differences here. Really interesting to watch back here. And I'm wondering if maybe this is the point where this BMW is sort of stuck. You'll see this a couple of times in races where you get the cars come across each other. And in this case, the racing doesn't have the straight line speed. So like, he's going to just sit in the slipstream, be dragged along. But then again, the second half of the circuit, a bit more reliable, having maybe a little bit more mechanical, maybe a bit more downforce. But I'm unsure that'll be that important. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye. We'll stay with this battle for now.
It can also be that Lasse is just staying behind Casper to take fuel now.
Yes, that's a very good point as well. We'll make that point several times, I imagine, during the broadcast. It's fuel saving and strategy. Right now, Lasse just staying behind DGTL. This could be, he could just be letting off the throttle. Luckily, we actually have the throttle inputs on screen for us to look at and for you guys to look at. So if you see him on the straights, just letting off the throttle, you know he's saving fuel. So you've got to do it. So coming up to Arnage now. both fairly decent on the brakes through there, although a better run, a better exit for that Aston. I think that Aston's got a little bit more grunt to it than the BMW does. Feels like it anyway. Let's have a look at Lasseter's throttle input, shall we? No, it seems to be going full bore at the moment, so no fuel saving here. Let's see how both cars react through here. So if what we think is true, we should see the BMW catch a bit through here as the Aston here gets a little bit loose. I think the BMW is just a little bit nicer to drive through these fast parts of the circuit, but again, nothing that guy can do about it to get past because of the straight line speed of the Aston Martin.
That's close.
It's very close, but the thing is, he comes out of here now, and then now what? Aston
No, you can't go over there.
Can't do anything. So it's got to be a mistake either coming into a corner or coming out of the corner to be allowed past. I'm wondering how much longer the DGTL car is going to allow this, because we know at the front of the field we've got Simtech and we've got Thrustmaster doing their thing up there. Very different lines. That's a very good run out of there. And they go side by side. Now let's see what the grunt this Aston has. I don't think there's going to be that much grunt. Yeah, looking back now, it's like, yeah, I think that's going to be move made, but we're coming up to
straight.
Yeah, the big old straight. So we've got action early on here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're also hearing that we've had a change of position a bit higher up. Here is our leaderboard, just so you guys can see it. We've had the number 88 endurance team come up into second place as I try and find them. There they are. So these Simtech and them battling right now. I don't think Simtech's going to take that lightly. Simtech have one of the teams around here who are coming to win today. So I don't think they'll like being overtaken this early on. Getting on board. The sense of speed from this camera is a lot of fun. Like those trees are whizzing by there. Of course, again, sitting in the slipstream. Again, let's watch this throttle input. Let's see if there's any sort of hint of a lift at all. Doesn't seem like there's going to be at this point. We're already right at the top. So, at the moment, Luke Walsh is racing to try and get past. A bit of a lift there on the way in. So maybe there's a little bit there going on. I'm interested to see how they go through the Porsche curves, because unlike the GTs, who they produce a little bit of downforce, a little bit, these guys producing a lot more. So when you're following closely, especially through the Porsche curves, you're going to start getting dirty air coming into play. And when you're following too closely, what that basically means is the front end just plows. You have less grip, less downforce to the front, less turning power effectively. So that could be a consequence here. Saying that, see how the cars have spaced out a bit now to allow for that. So these guys thinking here.
Looks like Simtech car is losing a bit more downforce. Gaining in the Porsche curves, but it's losing it on.
We saw that as well. We saw that actually when it was following the Thrustmaster car. It was just sort of sitting there. There's not much it could do about it apart from sit there and wait. But in this instance now, behind the car currently driven by Klaus Kag, and I think the number 88 Endurance Racing has probably the coolest setup down there. I mean, like, it isn't the most beautiful thing to look at, but I think it's the coolest thing. It's
it works.
I forget what they're called. The things that allow movement with those sort of links.
Yeah, it's linkage shaft.
Yeah, it's like a linkage shaft. We'll call it that for now. I can tell you what
it's called in Dutch, but
it's
called in English.
I don't want to hear your dirty Dutch.
A ball joint.
Oh, ball joint.
A ball joint. There you go.
Yeah.
So
Somebody went to school.
Between us, we can speak English. Good job, guys. Okay, again, this.
Dutch at the back of you.
Well, that aside, we'll come back to this. And although we're saying these guys are a bit slower in the straight line, look at the slipstream coming into play now. What will Luke do? You see the endurance car sort of moving to the centre of the track to say, no, I'm not really into that. Although the Simtech car now coming across the overtake, out brakes. Is he going to make the corner? Yes, he does. Takes a lot of the curb there. Back up ahead of the endurance racing car. Wish it was called something different, but it's not. But we're back on board now. This time with the endurance racing car. And look at the grunt. This is just telling it. This is the downforce coming into play here. Just pulling past Luke Walsh in a straight line there. I'm sure down in the Simtech there's some Irish swearing going on. That's different from English swearing, obviously. Nice view back there for the rear ring. See the spit of flame from the exhaust on the downshift there. Just see the lights ablaze now on that car behind. And all the while this is going on, David Greco's thinking, yeah, all right, you keep doing that. Yeah, you keep fighting. I'm not bothered.
We got a small. It's 1.3 seconds now.
Do what you want to do, and we'll get on with it. Of course, in the grand scheme of things, 1.3 seconds is it's nothing. It's going wide somewhere. That's what that is.
They're halfway through their stint now. The first stint. I think they will do 11, 12ish laps.
Yeah, that's the point. We actually need to make a note of that. So, Google Doc. So we're just getting a document sorted out for us so we can make some notes and actually be informed as commentators. So what's that about? Hello again, everyone, to joining us in our various places here. We are live on my YouTube channel, Jimmy Broadman's YouTube channel. That's a weird saying my name like that. And we're also live on Periscope and on Facebook. So make sure to give us a like in all your various locations. Share the stream around. We're the only people in the world who do this sort of event, so it's definitely worth looking at. And if you've just joined us, hello, welcome. My name is Jimmy Broadbent. I'm joined by Michael and Marcel to the left and to the right. And these guys are going to help me commentate today. This event, the Danish GTR 24 Hours, is effectively one big LAN party. To the left of us, we'll show you guys at some point, because the webcam's up there right now. Take
it off.
You can twist it around. We'll have Marcel go up there and just twist it around to show the event. As we come, just turn it at the top. Turn it around. There you go. And there it is. There are the teams down there, and you can see that little sort of tent in the middle. That is the endurance racing car team that you are watching right now on your screens, with that very interesting ball joint. There you go, ball joint steering shaft thing going on there. But the top three guys in LMP1 or LMP2, sorry, looking very close at the moment. So good stuff. Bring it. There you go. Bring it back and back again. Hello. But we'll show you guys every now and then just to let you know. This event taking part in how do you say it? See, I say middle fart because I'm British, but you say it differently.
Middle fart is something completely different.
Yeah, well, no, I like middle fart better. I like that better. We'll use that.
The name of the local town is Strip and Middle Fart.
Strip and Middle Fart. I'm gonna go to Middle Fart and Strip. There you go. What a day! What a time! What a time to be alive! There is actually a sleeping area for the teams, and of course, a lot of teams have their own little sort of tents and stuff set up here. We even have sofas in the background, sort of to show all the bits and bobs. As the race control are just trying to make as much noise as possible there, throwing cutlery at each other. But now we're seeing the endurance car now actually come up to our leader, up to David Greco, starting to get into the slipstream. Let's see if we can get on board there. I think this endurance racing car is running probably the least downforce out of these three at the top here, because it seems at least on this part anyway. Here we are in the slipstream now. I think this will be a done deal. Greco's going to defend it. No, he's not. He's going to let it happen. He knows better than to defend at this point. And into the lead then goes Klaus Karg in the number 88 Endurance Racing LMP2. Coming down into Mulsanne corner. And there it is, all done and done. Although now another long straight up towards Indianapolis. So Slipstream will come into it. Now what I want to see is if David Greco will start doing some fuel saving. No one's done it as of yet. Everyone's been pretty heavy on the old gas pedal. Steering linkage joint, there you go. Not a ball joint, it's a steering linkage joint. You know, it's a joint, alright? It's a joint.
You got it half right.
Universal steering linkage ball joint. There you go, all of those things. But yeah, I mean, look at that, and the straight line there, just how much that number 88 car is putting away. I actually I had a quick word with Klaus, I think it was before the race, and he was saying that they were actually quite disappointed with their qualifying. They weren't very happy with it. So maybe we're seeing the pace now of that car come into play. But these guys have absolutely gapped the rare cars, we have a second from first to second, and then 3 seconds back to sim, and then we have 26 seconds back to the guys in rare. So these guys are just, I think, driving around right now and not bothering too much. So we'll keep an eye on that. I wonder, we're saying that the endurance car is just now driving away. It's maybe just taking a little while to find their rhythm, and off they go. So if you just joined us, there's been a change for the lead. The number 88 endurance racing car, as driven by Klaus Car, moving up into first position in the class and overall. Like, ruin my camera angles once more. I never ever understand. Like, I always press. Yeah, I'm having to press it randomly right now. Well, under brakes, it says that it seems that Greco's got a bit of an advantage, but they are starting to drop back now a little bit. Yeah, I should label it really, shouldn't I? But oh, it's alright. I've got my candles. I'll use that instead. So, this is where we start seeing gaps form, and this is where you start getting into rhythm. You start relaxing a bit. When you start to speed up, I think that's what maybe happened to Klaus. He at the start of the race was a little bit stiff, and now he's starting to get into it a bit and starting to find the pace of the car. His last time by was, just for some reference, was a 3:38.3 fastest lap of the race, in comparison to David Greco's time, a 3:40.8. So 2.5 seconds quicker there. So David really, I think, just chilling out right now. Top 3 though still within the same frame. We need to make a note of when these guys will be pitting in. We do have a laps on here. We have 8 laps led by leaders so far. You guys were saying about 12 laps for a stint, were you? I hadn't actually asked you guys.
11 or 12. I don't know exactly, but
around there. So
around there, yeah.
About 11 or 12 laps for a stint. Still waiting for my magical Google Doc to come, but it ain't coming. Alright, so we'll write it down here. 11, 12 lap stints, and we'll make a note of that when they come in, and where everyone is. So yeah, 3:38 is a fast lap, given that I think our fastest qualifying time was a 3:37.3, I want to say, and that was from the car you're watching now, the Thrustmaster car. We'll go back a little bit, and you will see here are the rare cars. I'm hearing we've got a car off in the Ford chicane. I think that was RRC again. Let's see if we can find them. Here they are. That's a bit too far back on our old replay there, so we aren't going to go into all of that. But they had a little issue there at the Ford chicane. No damage on that car. It's not been a good start from the RRC cars. They've got I think they're about a lap behind the nearest guys after their initial damage, but again, just a matter of going round. I did speak to John before the race a couple of times, and he said to me that the goal for them guys is just to finish. And I think round here, just finishing is pretty much what you want to be doing. I mean, if that's your goal for the start, then you can think of other stuff after that. Awesome sounding Ferrari on the way past there. We'll move up through the grid, and what we'll do actually, we'll run down the positions as they stand now, as the car seems to spread out a little bit. As it stands now, this is your leader, the 88 endurance racing car, as driven by Klaus Karg. Second place, the number 4 Thrustmaster Musto car. David Greco currently at the wheel of that. And in third place, it is the Simtech Motorsport of Luke Walsh. Fourth in class is the number 13 Rare car, with the sister car, the 113, sitting back in 5th. And last in the LMP class. Then we move down to the Corvette of the Grippo Racing, currently driven by Casper Stoltz. Just putting on a bit of a clinic at the moment, got quite a big gap to the car behind, which is this car, the DGTL car. Last lap by a 2-second difference between the two. No, sorry, I lie. The no, sorry, this is the racing room car. Apologies, I've got the wrong way around. The racing room car is actually starting to catch the Grippo Racing car. I'm not quite sure who's actually in that car. No, sorry, that's Lasse Sorensen in there. Now, Lasse is a Danish champion in real-life motorsport, from what I hear. Someone told me that.
I didn't know that, sorry.
So I didn't know that either. So someone told me about 10 minutes before we started the race.
Car going slowly out of turn 21.
So there you go, rare endurance car going slowly, and that scared the absolute out of me. That was loud in my ears. So let's have a look, see if we can get on that. They seem to have sped up now. I'm not sure if there's not a GT entry for those guys, no. But anyway, yeah, he is a Danish champion. in some form of motorsport. Let's find out what it is. So this guy knows what he's doing, obviously. Behind them is DDTL, the car I was saying before, currently driven by Kaspar Hortgaard. Which I'm probably saying incorrectly. Then behind them, Team Bernie, with Michael Bernberg behind them.
Endurance cars now back up to pace.
There you go, rare endurance car back up to pace, which is good to hear. The Initech C2 with Michael Rasmussen in there. Interesting to see Michael Rasmussen. I actually used to know him from my early days of being a pretend streamer over on Twitch, and it's really cool to see him here. Then behind them we have Mr. Leckgard in the other racing room car. Cool story about these two racing room cars is they have a linking cross, that when they are above, when they're next to each other, the cross links, and that apparently is to show the strong link between the two cars, as I was told by one of the fellas down there. So that's quite cute, isn't it? That's nice to hear that.
Nice touch.
Nice text. Then we have the first. Oh no! So then we have the first of the Initech cars. So sorry, this is the second Initech car. Apologies. This is the Thomas Brindegard. Oh my god, so many Danish names here. The 177, and then behind them is Henrik Hoyer in the 199. So that is your field, and of course the Team RRC car a couple of laps down behind because of the dodgy start, but still going strong. Our top three starting to pull out a little bit now. And we'll use this slight lull in action just to go to a quick ad break, and we'll be back very shortly.
Experience so real. You're not only trackside, you're inside. Meet Butt Kicker, a simple wireless device that takes just seconds to install. Breakthrough technology that shakes your couch and rocks you without any additional volume. Experience the thrill of live racing at home. Go to shakemycouch.com right now to see a special offer for race fans. Don't just watch TV, feel it.
Righty, we are back. Sorry about. Oh no! Wrong one. There you go. Too many scenes. Sorry about that, guys. So I know we had a little bit of noise there during the ads. I'm still getting used to. There are so many things. This is far above what I usually do on this end, so still getting used to it. So please bear with us. Now, something that mentioned to us by our guys over at Race Control, something that I wasn't actually aware of, is that there are options to use boost on this. So there may be the option. The reason why that Klaus Karg maybe suddenly sped up is he's actually turned up the boost on the engine and managed to overtake that way. We're now seeing the LMPs coming up to the back of the GT field, so traffic is now going to start to happen. It's just it's just a bit laggy. We'll try and sort it out for the next break. But of course, as you can understand, I have limited options to do that right now. Just got to play it and get on with it. Let's get rid of that. This is interesting to show you the speed difference between the two cars here. Up the inside there. Very important to be nice and clear with your actions when you're doing that, otherwise it can quite easily end in a crash. You have to be very good at communicating your intentions with a slower class. Let's see what David Greco does here. Now he waits for after Nigel just come past now in a straight line. Although what will be very interesting is to see the Simtech guys, because the Simtech guys will probably come up to the back of the BMW coming through the Porsche curves. And now you'll get a good idea of the difference in speed between the two classes between the Porsche curves. Watch this. That little speck just ahead, that is a GT. Look how fast they come up. So of course you have to understand that catching these cars in the wrong place could be devastating for lap time around the outside. They're using that extra grip, although off the rubber there, make things a bit more difficult for yourself.
And the GT can only take one line in the Porsche curves.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't really make room for an LMP car.
Yeah, it's a good point there. The GTs are a lot less agile through those sorts of corners. So if you've got a P1 or a P2 coming up behind them, then the GT can only really take one line, and it's up to the P2 to go around them. Otherwise, you end up having some sort of coming together. That is the first of the traffic dealt for the cars in front. And now it's just a matter of chilling out and getting into a groove. I think at this point there's going to be a little bit of a time as the cars ebb and flow. We are expecting the first pit stops to be in around a couple of laps time. We're on lap 11 now. This will be lap 11 for Klaus Karg. I think the sort of range we're looking at is probably 11 to 14 laps. I'm not entirely sure of the range so far, but using a higher boost setting, as Klaus may be doing at this point, that's going to mean he's end up using a bit more fuel.
And of course, they also had the warm-up lap.
Yeah, warm-up lap as well. That's good to note, because without the warm-up lap, the people will be going around on the lowest boost setting possible for that. But that is another lap of fuel still. You may be an hour late, double downshift, but luckily this is a 24-hour race, so you have 23 hours of footage to look forward to. We've already been streaming today for about 6 hours, so I'm going to be in need of my adrenaline shot soon, please, team over there. But we're going to be here for the entirety of the evening. I've got my mattress just behind us, and I'm going to have a nice cuddle with Marcel later when we go to sleep.
No.
But I've got my mattress behind, so we can have a little nap hopefully during the race. And then we're hoping as well, if you were here for the start of the stream where we were just sort of doing our introductions, to do another notebook. We're going to walk around with our really high-tech laptop, webcam and mic sellotape together setup, and try and go around and talk to some of the teams and get an idea of what's going on. Of course, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, then hit the like button, let us know, share us around on social media, project us out to your local town folk. Whatever you want to do, let people know what's going on here. This is the only event like this in the world, I've been told now. I keep saying in Europe to be safe, but in the world where people all come together, they bring their gear together, all have one big LAN party in one place. We'll see. We choose their cars. Okay, something to get into that. If people want to choose their cars, it's based on comfort a lot of the time. Actually, this would be a good question for you, Marcel, given that you've done this race before. When you are preparing for this event and you're testing the different cars, what is it that you look for? What do you want?
Drivability.
Just drivability.
Yeah. In our case, it's drivability. Probably that's the reason why we haven't won a race yet. But that's the main thing we looked at. And I think I know Klaus a few years now, and I know they will test every car, do setups for every car, and look at the strength of each car and the weakness of each car, and then they decide what they do. And I am convinced that the guys of Trustmaster Musto and also Simtech do the same thing. They are consistent top 3 teams, so they have to do these things to win the race or have a chance of winning it.
Definitely important to have that. And I mean, for myself, I guess I can talk about my own experience in endurance racing. I always pick the most difficult car.
That's not smart.
Yeah, I'm the stupid boy that always crashes out of the races. You know when you see the kid kicking a wall down, that's me. That's what I do.
I saw what you did at Petit Le Mans. So.
Say again?
I saw what you did at Petit Le Mans.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't worry about that.
No. We won't talk iRacing today.
No, we won't talk any of my endurance racing today because otherwise that would be too depressing. But I think there's a challenge to it. But these guys, of course, for this event, 24 hours is a very long time. I know it sounds like, okay, that's a really easy thing to say. But when you are either awake for 24 hours, or B, your team is on track for 24 hours, that's a long time. You know, especially when you're sitting there watching your... I don't know about you, but I'm a very nervous viewer. When my car's going around, I'm always looking at it.
Yeah. But it's everything. It's not sitting in your own sim rig. Because of course, if you have a team of 3 or 4 drivers, 2 aren't driving in their own rig, maybe even not with their own steering wheel. So
yeah, that's interesting you say that, because when I spoke to David Greco just now, who's currently in driving this car you're watching on screen. He said that his rig was sent over by Thrustmaster, and it isn't his, and that's none of their rig.
Yeah.
So it's just a rig that they've just got. So they're all getting used to that, and I think a testament to the skill there of David Greco and his team. They're running second.
They just did that, yeah.
They're running second right now.
But that also explains what you said, driving at 2 a.m. today, still driving in the sim rig.
Yeah.
Just getting used to other hardware than you are accustomed to.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And talking about staying up late, once we get to a certain, I'm not quite sure when the cut off is for when the lights go. But once we start getting dark in sim, we'll be dimming the lights out there as well. We're already a bit dim in here. The reason for that is because we've got a very loud ceiling fan that we tried to jam but couldn't. So we've got our lights off in here for that reason. But down there, lights are blazing right now. People sort of just getting into their race. Got a nice little spectator stand down there as well. I'd asked him to give me a wave, but I can't see him. There you go, give us a wave. No, he's looking at me, but he ain't waving. He's looking at me weird. Which is probably some weird hippie man waving at you from the window would scare you, wouldn't it?
Who is that?
Who is that man?
Yeah.
But at the front of the field, as it is, I'm on the wrong screen. As it is, we have the 88 endurance car still pulling away. We are on lap 12 right now, so coming again, the 11 to 14 lap sort of stint is more of my guess. It isn't quite coming to fruition. Well, it might come to fruition yet. I should have really asked someone about this before. I forgot to ask about stint length. You'd see a lot of teams try and stretch to the hour, but I don't think that's going to be possible. Maybe for the GTs, probably not for the LMPs. If you can stretch to the hour, it makes it a lot easier because then that's 24 pit stops.
45, 50 minutes, I think. The stints will be.
But that's the problem with being at Le Mans as well. There's so much straight line, a lot of time you're on full throttle a lot. Tower, yeah, we can show you the tower. Here it is as of now. Here are our positions. Safety car not doing too well, unfortunately, at the back there. But as you can see, class car leading on a lap. Fast lap of 38.3, which is 38.2. He just does his fastest lap there in front of us. I think he's noticed on camera. He's showing off now. But just obviously feeling very happy in that car. Fuel is coming out. We're coming on to his 13th lap now. But he's feeling very comfortable in the car. David Greco doing a lap 2 seconds slower. Let's see what Simtech have, because I think their last lap was our fastest lap of 39.9. Can they go
the fastest of the race?
Yeah, so they're getting into it as well. Of course, fuel coming out of these things. You can see, by the way, guys, we're on Facebook as well. Facebook.com/GTR24H, and on YouTube, but of course we're streaming on my channel today, so hello, we're here. Also Twitter, which I think that we're going to be putting a lot of our stewarding decisions on, so if you want to look at the stewarding stuff before it happens, then go over there and find out. So, let's use this opportunity to go and have a quick look down at the GT field, shall we? Because I haven't been looking at the LMPs a bit so far. So, and it is still Grippo, still leading for now. Casper Stoltz in the car, and he's flying right now. I mean, let's have a look at his last lap time was a 57.9. Is very fast at this moment. And DGTL, although also going equally fast, DGTL actually have a fastest lap. They've done a 37.4 so far. So these guys actually pretty closely matched, but Casper just having the better start at the moment. No, the only people that I know running this actually is who we're watching now is Casper Stoltz. He ran over in VOR. This is very much a non-VOR thing. It's a Danish race that takes part every year, has done for the last 10 years. This is the 10th anniversary, so a big special broadcast to make the most of that. See in the background there, our overall leader, actually overtaking our GT second place, and there that is. Again, here is a nice onboard, and also BMW best sounding car, I think, in the pack. So just you haven't heard it. Oh.
Yeah, it is.
It sounds nice and angry, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear. These headphones do sort of work, so you might hear something in them.
Oh, it's not as loud as yours.
They're just quiet. But definitely at the moment, Lasser putting up a good fight against Casper Stoltz. Lasser again, a real life motorsport champion. I didn't ask him what discipline he was in. I'm not driving today because I was very humbled to be asked to come over here and commentate and lend my annoying voice to the stream. So, plus I found out very late about this, as we see. Oh, look at that! In the Thrustmaster car, absolutely just scythe through, coming through the Porsche curves. Corvette sounds better. Well, I tell you what, chat. What do you reckon? Corvette or Aston Martin? Or BMW, sorry.
Aston Martin, to be honest.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, screams more.
well this is our vet. This is okay. Well, we've got a pit stop. We have a pit stop, and that is the DG. No, it's the racing room car. Why do I get them two mixed up? And they are stopped on. I like how Peter's put pit stops coming up on the thing over here. Yeah, I've just into that now. So racing room in the pits at the moment. That is on so GT 13 for them. So that's early. I thought we'd see some LMPs in before that. Maybe they're running a higher boost setting just to stay with the guys in front. Although saying that, I've not seen. Let's go up a little bit. Aston pass. No, I've not seen the other guys come in. So early stop there for for racing room. I keep calling him DGTL. Head of the field. Let's see if any of our prototypes have pitted as of yet. No, not just yet. Well, I think we'll get him coming in probably next lap, I'd imagine. So DT's 13, 14 laps since. Now the reason why he could be pitting early could be because he has a higher engine boost. Could be for that sort of reason.
Or he wants to get out of sync with the rest.
Either that, yeah. I mean, there is a strategy in that as well. It's very difficult to do anything strategically when you're pitting at the same time as the person around you.
Yeah.
So MP2. So I'm guessing we'll probably see a pit stop at some point at the end of this lap. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. Bit of a gap now. This is a gap back. It's nearly at 10 seconds. The gap now back from first to second place. So if our theory is correct about the cars running a lower mix of fuel, what we'll see is the number 88 car come in, and we'll see the Thrustmaster car stay out.
Stay out, yeah.
But we'll see. If not, then we know that they're just on pace.
Yeah. But last lap, David was a bit slow. For 41. Simtek is closing the gap. But 2.5 seconds faster.
Yeah. So a slower lap there. That might have been due to
Traffic,
some sort of traffic. But there you go. Look, there is the gap now, really coming down. Maybe David has overestimated something. You know, sometimes you'll find out. I've only got 0.8 of a lap left on fuel, so now I've got to really cruise around this lap. We will see it. Let's see what happens here. I'm interested to see what the pit stops will happen. I'm hearing the race control making weird noises. They do that every now and then. But here is our leader. We'll keep an eye on the gap between second and third place for now. So coming through the Porsche curves. Now, my estimate, I think they are going to pit, surely. Like, I'm not sure the fuel tank on these things, but usually you find GT cars being a bit more efficient than the LMPs because they're not being weighed down by all that downforce, especially on the straights. But we'll see. So if he is going to pit, he'll peel off to the right now. Or what were you going to say, Marcel?
I don't remember. He's going into
there you
the
go.
pits.
So we got
Saved by Klaus.
We got one thing right eventually. So Klaus in the pits on lap 14, not 141, Jimmy. Lap 14. Will he be followed in? This is the question. No, he won't. So there you go. That's interesting. So we're getting a bit of a diversion of strategies there. Thrustmaster car going around again. Simtek in though. So it looks like David Greco has been saving fuel. So we'll put that down here maybe. First. So it's interesting. So 2 of our top 3 drivers coming in. The second place person staying out, which is Thrustmaster here. Now undercuts don't really work the same way because a lot of people go, "Oh, you can undercut," because people watch F1.
Yeah, this isn't F1.
Yeah, and they think you can do that anywhere. Yeah. So, well, no, because we're putting in a ton more fuel into the car. These cars, when they come in, are pretty much in qualifying trim, but with bad tyres.
Yeah,
and they're still very quick. So it doesn't work the same way here. So he won't gain anything from staying out apart from just trying to offset or save fuel for the end of the race.
Yeah. If a 24-hour race is about doing as less pit stops as possible. Mm-hmm. So that's why I personally don't understand why was it the GT car that came in early.
Yeah, that is a point.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's see.
And the undercut doesn't work because you have tires that maybe go 2, 3, maybe 4 stints.
Okay, so that's something as well. We see double stinting tires. I'll try and get some information on that for you guys. Maybe Michael can go around and ask for us when he's down there and get some information about double stinting. Does this sometimes? There you go. So we'll see if we can get some details from him for that.
I think they won't tell us this time. Maybe in the next round of pit stops.
Yeah, they won't tell us just yet. Especially if there's some gobby guy talking about it on the radio, like, "Oh, Thrustmaster doing this." Like,
we won't tell on the stream. But rare results from the pits.
Rare in the pits. Racing room. That is the other racing room car. So them guys running similar strategies, it seems. Although saying that, the Grippo car has gone round again.
Yeah.
So unsure. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll use the Grippo car as the benchmark, so to speak. Thrustmaster still not coming in. Or have they? I think they have. Right, that's why. Where is that Thrustmaster car? Yeah, that's still up. Okay, that's still there. So, that is about the time a pit stop takes you. Where is that? Where is that Thrustmaster car? So we've got the Thrustmaster car here coming through Arnage now, and our previous leader, Klaus Karg, he's going to be coming up to the second chicane. So that's about the gap you lose in the pit stops there. And as Marcel was saying, you really just try and, for endurance races, try and spend as little time in the pits as possible. Because, of course, anytime you're slowing down to the pit limiter, anytime you're getting repairs done, anytime you made a mistake, you're having to wait. You're having to wait and lose time. And, of course, if you can save 50 seconds by not doing another pit stop, then why wouldn't you do that? Even over 24 hours, 50 seconds is a long time.
Yeah, and it can make the difference between making a pit stop in the last 15 minutes or not.
I don't think this is essential to the whole thing. We'll pop it up every now and then. It's hard to have it up because it's such a domineering part here. It's sort of quite a large bit, but we'll flash it up every now and then. And in comes the Thrustmaster car, and so they're going to come. So it's just a lap longer on fuel. So that'll be interesting to see. I wonder if we'll. I think we'll see Endurance come back through and inherit the lead again. Although
It depends if Rare goes to the pits.
it depends if Rare pits, and also depends if the Endurance guys have caught any traffic as well, because that can be just as damaging. If you catch traffic whilst you're trying to retake the lead, that's not good. They're running wide a little bit at Arnage. Keep an eye to see what happens. Where's the Simtech car? Simtech car is quite a bit further back. Lost a bit of time there. What's the gap between the two? Gap is about 14 seconds, and that's about right. That's about what it was before they pitted. 14 seconds between Simtech and Endurance? Yeah.
Because Endurance Racing was first.
Go from there. Yeah, we'll keep this tower up as long as we can, but like I said, it really does sort of get in the way of other things. So we'll flash it up every now and then.
Oh, Rare also in the pits.
Rare in the pits as well. There you go. So people now completing all the pit stops. There's Rare. So that will be the number 88 Endurance re-inheriting the lead. Actually, no. Thrustmaster will come out in front.
Maybe tyre change.
Maybe there was a tyre change there for Klaus Karg in the number 88 and not for David Greco, because that gap from what was 10 seconds the other way is now pretty much up to, well, we'll see when they come across the line. My live timing says 30 seconds. I don't believe that right now. We'll see at the next split. But big gain there for David Greco, so I'll be interested to see what their strategy is. Let's go out there and ask. Go poke them. But that'd be interesting. Has Endurance fallen back to no? So to me, that says that both Simtech and Endurance took tyres, and these guys didn't.
Yeah, to me also.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see what we can do with the tower. We can make it a bit smaller. Give me a second.
DGTL also in the pits.
Who else are we having there?
DGTL wasn't it?
DGTL in the pits as well. Okay, so we're having pretty much everyone coming to their pit stop. So basically about 13 or 14 laps, 15 or the same for the GTs, of course, because they're going around a bit slower. Seems to be the majority or the time for most people out there. It's still Grippo leading in the Corvette though at this point in the GT class. Behind them we have Racing Room as well. So business as usual as it is for now. Gap starting to pull out a little bit now. Marcel, you've been in this race a few times, as I keep saying. You've just got past the hard bit. You've got past the bit at the start where everyone's elbows out, and now people are starting to relax. What's going through here? What's going through your head?
Nothing. Just driving your laps.
I hope not nothing. You'd be driving along and just
yeah. No. You get into a rhythm and everything gets easier. You're not as you're driving more relaxed, and everybody gets into a rhythm and their pace, and you're not fighting for position at the moment.
Now that's
See that everybody has a gap now.
Yeah, that's something that I wanted to talk about rhythm, because I hear people say that word so many times. I know what it means as a sim driver, but how would you describe it? I would describe it as, you know, when you drive your road car and then you get somewhere and go, how did I get there? You don't remember the journey. That's getting into rhythm. Yeah, I say that sort of thing. Where
just driving, don't paying attention to brake markers, just doing it.
Yeah. And that's not to say dementia, you know. you
No,
want,
no.
but,
Then you forget, oh, this is the Porsche curves.
yeah.
You have to go right here.
But you have to be careful of that because it can go the other way. You can get too relaxed. And I remember one race where my friend said he just forgot there was a corner and just turned the wrong way.
Yeah.
And that can happen the same way. So
But if you're driving as many laps as these guys are practicing, then you just don't forget how the track goes.
Mhm. So, going back to the head of the field,
Hey, Jarno!
and we still have the Thrustmaster car leading. The gap is about 30 seconds. So, either they short fueled the car to try and get out of sync with people, or people have taken tyres and these guys haven't.
I think the latter one.
Yeah, that's my guess as well.
In the end of this stint, if it's the right call. The tires in R Factor 2 just be very constant for a long time and then they drop off.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a good call. I think it is, but on the other hand, why are they the only ones doing that?
I'd be interested to go down there and have a look. But I think, given that this is we're now at the point of first pit stop's over, let's run down the positions, shall we?
Yeah.
So then, if I can get the mic a bit closer, race control. Sorry, I've just met someone, so they're having a bit of a barmy at the moment. But at the moment, it is Thrustmaster Musto winning or leading the race. David Greco at the wheel of that right now. Number 88 Endurance Class Card second, with SimTech Motorsport Luke Walsh in third. Number 13 Rare Car fourth, and the 113 Rare Car in fifth place in class. In your GT division, leading is Team Grippo. Casper Stoltz at the wheel, currently wheeling that number 89 Corvette around. Very nice bright green car. Second place we have the Racing Room number 29 with Lasse Sorensen at the wheel. Team Bernie are in third place. Innertech cars, sister cars, in fourth and fifth, with GTTL sixth. Innertech number 199 seventh. Racing Room number 5 8th, and the Team RRC car with their earlier issues down in last position. So I've lost one member of the family, and I've gained another one. Now we have Michael on a waffle. Okay, sorry about that, guys. This is I am still a little bit ill, so I'm having to just smash the mute button every time I start coughing, which is a little bit of a concern, but not too bad. So for these guys at the moment, if you were in the shoes of Klaus Karg, Michael, and I'm sure you are, and you pitted, you were in the lead by 10 seconds, you come back out, and suddenly you're half a minute behind the leader. What's going through your mind at this point?
Keep calm.
Yeah? Keep nice and chill.
Yeah. Don't go and push it. Try to keep your normal pace. Don't force it. And they'll have to pit eventually also. And possibly you will become the first.
Mm-hmm.
So don't go and push it.
Well, Marcel and I came to the conclusion that we think that Thrustmaster haven't taken tyres, but I was under the impression that everyone will be triple stinting, quad stinting maybe. So I wonder if the tyres around here are a bit of a softer compound than maybe we've been used to in the last couple of years. And it could be the case around here, but we have the camera on right now. So this is the gap. Here is Klaus coming over the line now, and then we come down to the S's, and there is our leader, David Greco. Still in the car, by the way. It's likely we'll see by the next stop, we might see some driver changes. I'm not sure what the general stint is around here. When you guys were doing it, how long were you staying in the car?
Most of the time we were driving until the tires became non-drivable. So we tried to make as long as possible stints, or when the driver becomes too tired or something like that. We've had a very creative last moment decisions on who's gonna drive and when he's gonna drive. For Marcel and our other team member, which is also called Michael, they normally did the daytime driving. They were the faster drivers. Me, I was very constant at the dark. So I most of the time drove the night stints. And then we decided, sometimes we've had a little planning which looked good.
Yeah.
But during a race, an event happens, you have to change some little bit
So basically,
earlier.
you just luck into it.
Yeah, last minute decisions. But try to stay as long on the track as possible with your tires.
So that's good advice there. Of course, you have to. It's like any motorsport. You have to then think about whether it's worth staying out, because you could end up losing a lot of time each lap. If you go by one too many times, you end up losing a big chunk of time.
It's also more critical in the later stages of the race. In the beginning, it isn't that critical to lose a little seconds while still driving with a little bit worn tires. But I think after 18 to 20 hours, it really gets to it.
Well, I think by the time you get to that point, of course, this is a race that will evolve. You know, it's a 24-hour race. No, it's a full day. I've said it already once on stream. I'll say it again. 24 hours is a damn long time,
it is,
especially if you're sitting in the car or if you're sitting out here talking for 24 hours. I expect that I'll have no voice left in about 2 hours' time. So,
in 24 hours, so many things can happen. We've had years which we had very detailed planning, and sometimes the planning lasted 2 hours. Sometimes the planning lasted 20 minutes.
Have you finished all your races here?
Let's see. I think we finished 2 of them, 2 of the 3. Yeah.
So what happened in the one that didn't go so well?
We've had a technical failure in the last year. We've had the steering wheel, which was a brand new steering wheel, which started smoking during the race.
Oh wow!
Really smoking. Panic, everything. Changed the steering wheel, and the new steering wheel wasn't feeling very well, so we decided to stop.
That's interesting. Yeah. We talked about there being no mechanical failures on the cars, no random failures on the cars in game, but our mechanical failures, they can occur. They occur in the sim. I mean, an example would be that to yesterday when we were sitting down, I was walking around the paddock on on zero sleep, and one of the teams, I think it's one of the rare teams actually, were just sitting there trying to fix their wheel. And this is like 1:30 in the morning. They're sitting there. There was a fella sitting there with a pair of pliers trying to repair a USB slot that wasn't quite working. We had trouble for the Grippo guys because they couldn't get that OSW working either. And and people, it's and I think what's extraordinary now is we're all here, we're all racing, even after all that. And it's very similar to that sort of, okay, the car's got a problem, we'll stay up all night fixing it. It's similar to that, but we're here with sim gear.
The first year we were here, our car, our rig, everything was going very fine until the last test minutes, which was quite late. I think it was Friday evening. Everything was good, and then suddenly a power outage.
Oh no!
And the whole PC crashed. Nothing went. Nothing.
Oh, that sucks, man.
We were from great joy, everything works. Yes, we are here for the first time to...
Look at us, everything is working.
Get away. It's like, nothing can go wrong here.
Yeah.
Who was that? Okay, so Grippo there, we're hearing they managed to pit a lot later than anybody else. I mean, we know that they're just coming out of the pits now. Race control just said to me it's about 3 or 4 laps later than anybody else, and here they are now just making their way out of the pits. So I'm going to put that down on our little spreadsheet here. So that really tells me they're running either a very low fuel boost, although I didn't see Casper doing any fuel saving. I didn't see him lifting that much, so no idea how they managed to make that work, but just shows their pace, if anything. They're that far ahead, and they're still saving fuel, so...
We were driving them in 2014 in the GT, and I told the driver in the first stint, don't worry, he's going 2 laps before you into the pits, let him go.
Yeah.
And he went into the pits 2 laps later. So
That's
it
typical.
shows that they are pretty good.
Well, again, I can attest. I've raced Casper before in league races, and he's a fast guy as well, very consistent. And we had him up here just before the race started, actually. And it's interesting because Casper and I at first didn't really get on. He hit me in a race, and I was very angry. And he was saying, "No, I didn't really like you, Jimmy." Like, when he was sitting here, I was like, "Oh, yeah, well, you're here now." But luckily, you can get past those things after a while. These little incidents aren't much, and that's one of the nice things about being this event. The sports everyone is very competitive. There are prizes on offer, etc. There's no malice between anyone. Everyone's very friendly. Everyone, willing to help each other out. I mean, yesterday there were people trying to help each other with their wheels breaking and sitting down. And that's what these events are all about. Is that sort of community spirit, people just coming together.
Yeah, it's a total atmosphere which counts. Yeah.
So you can say that, and that's a word we use a lot as well. Is atmosphere. And even yesterday when I was walking around sleep deprived, I could still feel just like there is something there. I mean, sim racing is a bit of a niche hobby to say is a bit of an understatement, really. Not many people are into it. People say, I'm into racing, I'm into sim racing. You know, it's like a little break off from that. But everyone here has the same interest, so you can sit down, talk to anybody about any wheel, anything, and get a response because they'll know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's not the only thing. It's also the respect for each other. Doesn't matter if you're driving an OSW or a Fun Attack or a G27, 29, whatever.
All that matters at that point. And I was saying about the gear. I mean, again, another chance to ask a question. Because I love this question. Where in 2007, when people were starting out, which I know you guys know a bit later than that, people were bringing desk chairs and G25s, and that was it, pretty much. Now we've got motion rigs down there. We've got VR, but not people aren't racing VR. We've got VR setups down there. We have OSWs. We have Fanatec wheels. There are some trusty G27s still there as well. What were you guys bringing when you came here? What do you guys have?
First year I don't
Everything
remember,
we had.
to be honest.
Don't remember.
First year.
First year I don't remember.
Fun Attack Club Sport.
Yeah, CSW.
Okay, that's cool. Was that the one that caught fire or smoked?
No,
Yeah, that was a new V2.
Yeah.
A new V2. Okay.
Yeah, not good.
Brand new. Unboxed it here.
Unboxed here.
At the event.
Yeah, obviously you unboxed it wrong.
Yeah.
You took it out of the box too fast.
I'm not saying that because Trustmaster is a sponsor or something, but
No. No, Logitech, however, Logitech do great wheels. Okay.
No, but I think it was bad luck.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen to anyone. I've had stuff out of the box and it just doesn't work. It's the nature of these sort of things. They're quite specialist. So
It worked for I think 20 hours.
yeah.
20 hours is alright, isn't it?
It isn't that bad.
I'm not quite sure how that works out in the money per hour, but there you go. Anyway, enough of the Grippo car. Here is their closest competitor on track. It's currently the DGTL car. Racing Room car has dropped off, and the reason for that is there's been a driver change in the Racing Room car. We had no. Wait a minute.
How is it that the Grippo car is second?
The Grippo car is second.
Tires.
Tires again. Okay, well there you go. We're good at this. We're good at commentating. It looks as if that's why I thought it was a driver change. I was looking at the sister car. It looks like Sorensen has actually gone into the lead of this race for the GT class here. Again, with maybe a similar strategy, maybe saving tyres. Unsure as to what the specifics are of that, but that's what we seem to have at the moment. So 29, probably not even taking tyres. Hard to tell, but they are now leading. You can see the now.
eRacing C2 is in the barrier in corner 21.
Well, there you go. So we've got eRacing C2 in the barrier. Let's see if we can get
car driving slowly on track out of turn 21, approaching turn 22.
There we are then. Our second casualty of the day, the eRacing C2 car, missing their front end. So they've gone off somewhere. I think they've got the
The slow car is
somewhere.
slow due to missing splitter.
They got information from race controller. That's all the drivers can hear that, so they know what to expect when they get to the situation. The Innertech car is going to be slowing down heavily now. You don't want to be taking one of these cars through the Porsche curves with no front end. That does not work. I can tell you that right now. But that's going to be a long pit stop from them. Not been the best
Slow
of stuff
cars
from these
now
guys.
between turn 22 and turn 23.
This is the number 177 car. So they're now the second to last runner. We might see the Team RRC car come back through, but they've had a couple of incidents so far, so we will see.
The slow cars now entered the pits.
So we're being told it may have been a long stop for the 89. Maybe a penalty or something. You see the Innertech car just trying to get the car on circuit there and not doing too hot a job of it. Into the pits comes. So there you go. That's that error out of the way. That obstacle now out of the way for the drivers, but not a good sign for those guys in the tech car. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, it's looking like we still have Thrustmaster leading, with Simtech in third and Endurance Racing 88 in second place. That gap is starting to eke out now. There's about 15 seconds between each of them. Maybe a bit more actually, 19 seconds between Endurance Racing and Simtech, and then the rare cars are quite a bit off the back of them. The field is spreading out a bit now, which I think will be a good chance for us to go to some ads. So, we'll be back in a tick.
Imagine a viewing experience so real. You're not only trackside, you're inside. Meet ButtKicker, a simple wireless device that takes just seconds to install. Breakthrough technology that shakes your couch and rocks you without any additional volume. Experience the thrill of live racing at home. Go to shakemycouch.com right now to see a special offer for race fans. Don't just watch TV, feel it.
Sorry about that, guys. Had to very quickly deal with something off camera there. Welcome back. Thank you for sitting through the old ad arenas. Come back. Maybe you've just joined us. Hello, my name is Jimmy Broadbent. I am the I guess main commentator for this event here today. The GTR 24 Hours brought to you all the way from lovely Denmark. with the definite name of Middlefart being the the town name. Still makes me laugh when I utter it because I am a immature boy. Last 20 minutes, not too much in the last 20 minutes. We've seen a couple of cars come in. We've seen that the 29 car has possibly not taken any tyres, and therefore has stayed out ahead of the Grippo racing car. I would actually like to go have a quick word with those guys down there and see what they make of that. I need to actually understand what's going on with their strategy. Oh. Ahead of our prototype field is the Thrustmaster car, as driven by David Greco. These guys are still in the cars. Their first stop we had was around at lap 14, so not going to be too long away before we have the second pit stop. Lap 28 or so is when we expect that to come in. Just trying to get myself comfy here. Yeah, this is a 24-hour race. And the best bit about this race is I'm going to get up and show you. Hi. That is where all the drivers, all the teams are right now. That is the driving paddock. You can see the various glows on monitors. Everyone you see on track right now is down there. We are all having one big LAN race here. This is the 10th anniversary of the event. To mark that, we have a very special broadcast here today. Lots of time and effort gone into this, especially from Peter, our Lord and Saviour, who has done a lot of the graphics for this. So, are you enjoying the stream at all at any point? Maybe you're just enjoying hearing me rambling. Maybe you're enjoying the graphics. Maybe you're enjoying the racing. Whatever your poison is, hit the old like button on the YouTube channel. Share us around. Let people know what's going on. This is the only time. The only time this sort of event happens in the world, this time every year, is everyone getting together with their own rigs, coming back down. Now, I've just seen John Fabricius walk off. He is the Team RRC team manager. Unsure as to what's going on with him there. I would like to have a quick chat with one of them, sort of get an idea. And by the way, guys, if any of you are interested, if you're watching down there on the stream, I know some of you are, then think about maybe come over and having a word with us. Come chat with us. We want to hear interviews. We want to hear your point of view from the race. Come and say hello. Now, I'm going to do something that Peter has been telling me to do the entire race, but I've forgotten. I'm going to go and maybe sit in some of the TeamSpeak channels. Let's see if we can get on board. Let's see if we can go to Simtech. Does Simtech speak my language? So we're sort of selecting now. Oh, saying that, we actually have a whole lot of driver noise. So that is a voice activation there. So we'll try somebody else. We'll try DGTL, who are currently third place in class, just listening in at the moment. The thing I don't want to do is say hello and do what they do on those Australian V8 supercar broadcasts when the guy comes onto the radio. It's like, hello, it's Jamesy up in the booth. We don't want to be doing that too much because I don't want to be distracting them at this point. I know how difficult it can be to keep your head in the game, especially one of these large events. We are currently an hour and a half into this 24-hour race, 23 hours and 30 minutes left on the clock. I say that with a big sigh because I need some coffee. Something else, guys, I think would be cool to show you is actually race control. So I'm going to get up again. I'm going to move this camera around a second time and show you guys I say brains. I think brains is a bit too generous for them. Of the race control over here in the right. So race control, if you can hear us, give us a wave. No, there you go. That's saying hello. And you can see there in front of them on that little TV that has a track map and live timing on. So this is our room up here in the booth here, and those stairs to the left that make me oh so tired every time I have to climb them. there you go, guys. If you are maybe thinking about, oh, have they put any effort into this event? Damn right they have. So, if you're interested in maybe participating, in this race maybe next year, then DTR24h.org, you can see it in the top right hand corner of the screen. Go have a look on there, and once there are sign-ups available, they will be there for you to come say hello. And I must say, as a sim racer, this is one of those experiences that I think is on the old sim racing bucket list. Very important to come in, I think, to one of these sort of things and experience just being around people who share your passion. There's nothing better than that. So it looks like Racing Room have come into the pits, and Casper Stoltz has actually retaken the lead now. They are really off schedule, so that was lap 22 they came in. So they are really off schedule with the rest of the car. Sorry, not even that. It'll be lap 21 for those guys. Now, I am just commentating today. I've been invited along over to Denmark to commentate, and I'm very happy to be here. Especially because that internet is awesome. See if we can maybe... Who is driving? Maybe we can say hello to the guys in the Grippo picks. Well, I don't want to scare them. We'll give them a go. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Casper. It's Jimmy here.
Hi, Jimmy. Welcome.
Hi. Hello. Do you mind that we have a quick word? No,
that's okay.
So we'll just have a look at your car. So Casper, up into the lead again. You weren't quite sure why you fell out of the lead.
I think that the Racing Room did a very short pit stop, and we did a full pit stop, full service. So, yeah, I guess that's why.
So would that suggest maybe a different tyre strategy there? Them not taking tyres or something, or?
I don't know what they are doing or what they aren't doing, but it's quite obvious that we are not in sync. And I think maybe they would try to do 1.5 stint on a set of tyres, but I don't know.
How is the car feeling at this point?
Very good. It's a American view, brute power. So yeah.
Oh yeah, well I know Casper from the past, and watching you on some of your YouTube videos, you've driven old Mustangs around in racing. I remember seeing a video where I think maybe your gearbox or drive shaft died.
Yeah.
But of course, this is a completely different beast. This is a GT with a bit of downforce and actually some grip. So what's the plan for you guys now? Are you staying in the car for a lot longer, or?
I don't know, maybe a stint more after this, and then Magnus will have his debut, I think, for the Le Mans. So, yeah.
Is he nervous?
I could imagine, but I don't know. I hope so, because he usually performs best when he's under pressure. So.
Awesome. Well, we'll leave you to it. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Casper. We'll probably come check in again at some point. And,
yeah, no problem, Jimmy.
Best of luck the rest of the stint, mate.
Thanks, man.
We're actually joined at the moment. We'll say hello. This is Peter. Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Peter has been working tirelessly over the last however long it's been to get this event up and running and looking as nice and sleek as it does. I was actually, I think, sitting here about 4 AM in the morning while I was getting my several hundred Zs in the background, just trying to fix things. So, Peter, I guess tell us about this event. Tell us what it's about.
Well, it sort of started as a bunch of us just thought, back then we were using GTR2, and it was obviously not stable enough to do a 24-hour race online. So we're all crazy about the Le Mans and the sports cars. So how do we emulate that? How do we get on? How do we produce our own Le Mans race? So even back then we didn't even have a Le Mans track for GTR2. So what's the next best 24-hour race that we could do in that game? That would be the Spa 24.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's how it all started. In the beginning it was all Spa races. Then came along the LMP or the Le Mans track, some LMP cars. So get all those mods in there and try to do that, and we found out that we had it in the beginning. It was twice annually, but 2 races. But we found out that was too much because a lot of people tend to devote a lot of time to this, and most of these teams start practicing in like June, right after the real Le Mans. They have like a half year to prepare for this. Also, you're racing the same rig, so people go and visit each other, things like that, to test in the same rig. It's a lot different to practicing for an online race. So that spirit and the way that is different from just doing an online race. We thought, even though we can do online race now, it's really a shame to shut this thing down. So we don't want to convert it to an online racing thing. That being said, I think we are going to arrange something like 3 or 4 online races leading up to the race next year. Might be, I don't want to promise anything, but we might be looking into that. Also for teams to prepare. That won't be that won't necessarily be on the Le Mans track. That might be on other tracks. But it's going to be long races. It's going to be 12 and 24-hour races. None of these shorter or 6-hour sprint races. None of those. It's real proper endurance racing. Yeah, what was I getting at? I was getting at the feeling of the event and not shutting down, and then sort of the whole esports scene exploded, and we're pretty. I'm sort of baffled that sim racing didn't take off as an esport, like CS:GO or anything, the MOBAs and everything, because I would say sim racing is far more of a sport than a 3D shooter or anything else. See, this is, I know it's mentally exhausting to do the strategy games and stuff. I play a lot of games myself, and I won't argue with in any way that I would call that a sport, because you have to practice. You have to be in good physical condition. You can't be ill like me. I would perform. You too, Jimmy, as we are a little bit sore throat here in the commentary booth. You can't perform when you're not mentally and physically fit. I would definitely argue that when competition gets to a certain level, then it's a sport. And sim racing, I don't know if you've been driving with one of the OSW wheels and you tried the force feedback in those. I saw your full force feedback test. Almost killed you, took your arms off. It's a proper workout driving those cars. You know, even with the Thrustmaster, the T500s and the T300s, if you turn the power up all the way, some of the 300s even have the rim or the band on the engine there. It slips inside the wheel. And that just tells you how much force that is. It's maybe 4 or 5 kilos on each side of the. I know my T500 it can lift about 5 kilos at the wheel. So that's like lifting 5 kilo weights in your arms when you're turning the car. So it's a proper workout. You got all the things with, or, you know, when it's like in endurance racing like this, it's a whole team of drivers. So it's Le Mans is not as exhausting in that way, because you got all the long straights. But some of the tighter tracks, you need maybe 4 drivers to do a 24-hour race, because you don't want to be doing nothing more than maybe double stints, because then you're all tired and worn down. So that you got the team thing of it, you got the strategy thing where you need to calculate your fuel levels, you got all the actual physics going on in the game that you need to adjust to, all the telemetry data, you need to do your setups, you need to agree with each other doing the setup. There's a whole lot of like team management and leadership in it too. I would say
sorry about that, guys. I didn't get to the mute button in time there. I think Peter's getting race controlled up at the moment.
Yeah, it's just a message for race control. I was just listening in just to be sure what's happening. Team Bernie Racing has been involved in some kind of naughty overtaking by an LMP car.
Okay.
I think.
So we're getting a complaint come through. I think it's again, not against Team Bernie. Team Bernie are making the complaint, I think, about an LMP car. We'll see that a lot in this sort of race. You see a lot of that because of how these cars race. And I'm noticing, by the way, that the 88 Endurance car is starting to reel in the Thrustmaster car again. Maybe they are on a higher boost.
Look, we've been looking at the numbers, and actually, for those two cars to perform the same, Endurance Racing needs to be quite steadily doing 2 seconds faster laps than Thrustmaster. Then they're on a pretty level playing field. But it looks like he's doing that at the end of the stint, but not at the beginning.
Okay, let's see. Well, just to quickly go back to what we were saying, the future of this event.
Yeah, like we wanted to move into esports. We wanted to be a proper esport. And also again, like proper esports, you get teams together, you play at a physical venue, just like this. That's again an argument for keeping it this way. And we want to, of course, bring in many more teams. We currently have the actual limitation of this venue. Now we have a possibility to expand that to 2 large rooms. So we should be able to accommodate something around 50 or 60 teams. We're limited at the moment by R Factor 2 and the fact that it doesn't run very well with more than 40 cars. But that's online. Mm-hmm. And it'll take some testing to find out if those online kind of challenges, if they're not present when we're doing it on a local area network. But I would suspect they are not.
Okay.
Yeah. See, we're getting ping times here that's 20 times less.
Yeah.
Than when you're doing a very good connection online. Sometimes we see guys at 150 ping. Here, everybody is between 5 and 7 milliseconds.
Yes, so very limited or none in terms of lag incidents from what we see. There's something else I was going to ask you, but
that's of course also a very significant difference between racing online. You can race right up to the bumper of the car in front of you, and you don't even have to worry that it's going to lag spike or do anything.
Nothing at all. So I was just watching that Klaus Car still going around, still putting in decent lap times, again about 1.5 seconds now quicker. It needs to just go that little bit more to push and get onto the back of the Thrustmaster guys. We'll probably come back to you at some point, Peter. We'll come back to you when there's stuff going on in race control. Anything else you want to say before we let you go as Lord and Saviour of the GTR?
Not really. Just thanks to all the viewers, guys. It's really awesome to see all these guys following our race. I know a lot of places in Europe now we're getting into the official dinner time, so that's why we're seeing a slight drop in the numbers right now. But yeah, it's autumn, so get in there in your living room on your couch, push up the GTR 24H stream on your Chromecast or smart TV or whatever you have, lean back, get your tablet or phone out.
Every possible device.
Yeah. Lie down on the couch with a nice blanket.
Yeah, you need 4 screens.
Good strong cup of coffee, and follow us into the night when it gets dark. And just have a generally pleasant time with Jimmy here in the commentary booth, and Marcel and Michael coming back soon.
Yeah, wait for my coffee.
Yeah.
He didn't bring coffee.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you very much, Peter, for joining us. Good to have you here. I'm sure we'll see him again at some point during the old stream. He's just over there in race control.
Back to the duties.
Yeah, off he goes. But then back to the racing at hand. Nice to get that insight there from Peter. Of course, Peter's been doing this for a very long time now, so very much aware of how these things work after this set period of time. Of course, if you are enjoying the stream, then maybe consider going over to the GTR 24H Facebook page, dropping that a like. A lot of information can be found there, and of course, liking this stream as well, showing your support, maybe even sharing it out. Who knows? Let's go back to the battle at hand now. You're seeing that this gap between first and second place is coming down by the lap. Klaus Karg is reeling in David Greco. Just about see that Thrustmaster shaped dot in the distance. Always great to watch these cars go through the Porsche curves. Such speed, such downforce is being glued to the circuit. Very fun to do when you're driving. I'm sure these guys are having a great time out there. There is the gap now. You can see visibly it's come right down. And it's always easier to follow in this instance. Okay then, so here in the Thrustmaster going round again. We're actually meant to be, I think either this or endurance racing, are meant to be having a pit stop around now, and they've not done so. So it seems maybe that, I think it's Enduro that should have come in now. Yeah, it is them, you're right. So interesting to see they're staying out. Maybe they're trying a different strategy now. We'll wait and see. We've got people in chat. I say people in chat. We've got Tubbsy rooting for the safety car. You're gonna find yourself not doing too well supporting the safety car. I can tell you that now. But the comeback is still possible. It's still possible. Yeah, bet your house on the safety car. I'll give you the odds. With me. But whilst that safety car drama doesn't unfold, we'll keep an eye on this event. It's really great being able to see the inputs of the drivers. Just to explain those to you, you have at the top next to the gear, you have the steering ratio, how much steering you've been putting into the wheel. Then on the right, you have the throttle, which is why it's that's all full right now. We're on the straight. Centre, you have the brake, and on the left, you have the clutch, which won't be using this. These things have auto clutch and auto cut off, but you'll see them flash on every now and then when they change gear. And watch the braking into here. Full brakes, and then off again. That's how you slow the downforce cars down. You initially have a big hit on the brakes, use the downforce to slow down, then as the downforce peels off as you slow down, you start coming back off the brake to avoid locking up, and looks like Klaus has that down. I think like many hobbies in the world, sim racing can be as expensive as you want it to be. I've known people who have gone racing with a £30 plastic fantastic wheel. He knows who he is. So you can definitely go racing. Of course you can spend as much or little money as you like, but this isn't about that today. This is about the sort of celebration of all coming together under a shared hobby and just enjoying each other's company. Still closing in now. The gap isn't closing as fast. I think maybe that Greco has maybe turned the old Thrustmaster car up. We should be seeing Klaus come into the pits now, which is maybe why he's dropped back a little bit, not seeing the point of pushing the issue, so to speak. So let's watch this guy. Is he gonna peel into the pit lane? No, going around again. Okay, so this is an interesting strategy here. Wondering what the strategies are for these guys. Of course, we saw before that we had the endurance racing car pit a long time before the Thrustmaster car, and as a result the Thrustmaster car seemed to jump them, but I think that's down to actually maybe not taking tyres, and we're starting to see that pace difference come back now. Because look now, that endurance racing car is all over the back of the Thrustmaster car. A bit of GT traffic in between. They're going to go up the inside here nice and clean. Now we've seen before that the endurance racing car was actually pretty fast in a straight line. Those have a slipstream and a little bit of encouragement from his team, I reckon, to get past now. So we'll go on board. You can see that gap come down yourself. This will be it, probably coming down to the second chicane now. Yeah, pulls to the inside again. Mr. Greco not fighting it. I think he knows that his race is not with this right now. There you go, Klaus back up into the lead, but ooh, a little bit of a wiggle there. Slowing down to the braking zone. Oh, I saw, I think it was a cone that got battered there. I thought I saw the Thrustmaster car go into the back of the guy, but that was just him hitting a cone behind, I think, just to avoid the slightly wayward Klaus Karg. There's changed the lead then. After 113 minutes, nearly coming up to the 2-hour mark, we have another change to the lead. Again, the endurance racing car putting back past, but I'm expecting surely this lap for the endurance racing team to come into the pits. Surely this lap. About that, guys, a couple of OBS things to do there. This is the best voice I can do right now. I'm ill, unfortunately. Can't do many more voices than this. This is our Factor 2. Hello, Dennis Lynn. Good to see you, mate. And the in comes, there you go. As predicted, Klaus Karg in the pits for the endurance team, and that then promotes David Greco back up into the lead. So these guys swapping, there's like strategy coming into play a lot here as I pull up my braces, literally. Just was looking down there very quickly just to the team area to see if I could see any of the guys driving, but of course Klaus Karg having his rig sort of blocked off from sight with a little bit of what looks like tent poles or something like that down there. And for those who are just joining us, you want to know what the GTR 24 is all about. Let me show you. Down there, in the bottom left-hand corner, all those little monitors you can see are the teams taking part in this race. Of course, you can't see all of them because some of them are not facing us. They're all down there in that area right now. And then, to the right of that, are all our little team tents. They're all down there as well. So in the team tents, the guys who aren't driving right now, they go through telemetry, etc. They have a look at what the car is doing, how much fuel they have left, temperatures, tyre pressures, all that stuff. All the information is there. They can also talk about how the car is working, how the guys out there are achieving those lap times, what telemetry they have to put in, and what inputs they have to put in. And this is it for the entire race. This is the setup here, and it's something that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world This is the only event ever to do it, and I think it's. I'm loving it personally. I'm so humbled to be coming asked to come and commentate as part of this. Yeah, and we have Scare Electrics. Yes, yeah, we got Scare Electrics. Well, luckily that's I think the first time the Scare Electric set has been left alone in the last couple of hours. It's been pretty abused at this point. Exactly, I was invited for my looks, and looks alone. So, Rare actually being up into third place now. I think that the Simtech have pitted again though. Yeah, because you can see they're just right behind at the moment. The Simtech challenge seems to have faltered somewhat. They haven't quite got the pace to keep up. Of course, this is still Luke Walsh in the car. I imagine we'll probably start seeing some driver changes soon. And we actually did a little bit of a walk around earlier. We'll do another one at some point during the race. So we're walking around the paddock and walking around down with all the pit garages to show you how everything looked. And we'll do that again. We'll call it Jimmer's Notebook, I guess. We'll totally not rip off Mr. Kravitz. And go down and talk to some of the teams, try and get their opinion of things, and then go from there. So it's about time for me to do another update in my vlog. Why the hell not? Right, hello. We're here. We are how far are we into the race? We're pretty much 2 hours into the race now. We've not had any DNFs as of yet, which is awesome. Really enjoying this. I mean, my throat's a little bit knackered. I must say, I'm still ill from however long ago it's been, but still managing to push on strong. We have chat over there somewhere. You can't read them, but they're there. And even now, we still have over 400 people here watching the stream, which I think is absolutely awesome. So, cheers all for being a part of that. Hopefully, we can continue putting on a decent show. Did I get enough sleep? I think I got about 7 hours sleep or so, which is what I wanted. I just wanted some sleep. Though I will not be staying up the entire 24 hours. There will be a nap in between. I won't be able to talk for this long, and without any sort of nap. It also won't be too long before we start seeing a little bit of a change in the tinge at the mod. Of course, this being in R Factor 2, one of the reasons for doing it in R Factor 2 is that we have access to the day-night transition, and I'm going to just very quickly make myself comfy, and as the rare car comes in, which gives Simtech back third place in class, we have weather. Day-night transition, weather, and a real road build-up. What the real road build-up means, maybe if you're unfamiliar with the concept, is that over the course of the race, the teams will be putting down rubber through their tyres, and that will make certain parts of the circuit more grippy, and by comparison and by contrast, other parts a little bit less grippy. If it rains, which there's definitely a possibility of it doing so during the race, if it rains, that rubber will be washed away, and then we'll be up to make it again. So usually you'll start seeing the slower lap times. It'll be like, let's say for example, the best lap we've had so far is from Klaus Karg. He did a 3:38.0. He maybe after it raining would maybe be probably back in the 40s because of the lack of grip on the circuit. If it does rain, of course, that adds another element of strategy in, because you have to then think about when it's best to come in and change tyres, and of course taking the wetter tyres does mean that you're gonna have to put up with how they handle and how they fall off. So lots of different permutations here, and of course going from day to night might seem like an easy thing, but the track is a lot harder to navigate at night, I can tell you that now. I don't know, I'm not one of the organisers, Carlos. I'm just commentating today, I'm not quite sure why they choose the sim they do. But up until very recently, they actually used GTR 2, so this is actually a bit of a progression for them. Let's check in with our GT class as we have, Thrustmaster coming in, only a lap after. Getting a little bit wide there on the pit entry. I want to see now, will we see the endurance car come back through and take the lead, I wonder. This is going to be interesting. So we've got our Thrustmaster car in the pits and stationary at the moment.
Yeah. This is your dinner. Evenings.
Oh. Sorry about that, guys. That was a bit bad. Basically, I've just been given a ban, so I'm allowed to eat later. I've been allowed food in my cage, which is nice. Back to this, though. Thrustmaster, have they come out? They're just coming out of the pits now. Here, this is going to be close. Thrustmaster coming out of the pits. They're going to be... Yeah, I think that the endurance car is going to get past. There they go. And the lead changes again. So that's them, I think, now both in sync again. And not much between them. Of course, we know that Card, I think, is a little bit faster over the course of a stint, so Greco's now going to fall back in second place. Was that? And behind them, Simtek has caught up once again. So there's Simtek coming into play as well. So the top three coming back together again. So I've just been brought a quote-unquote Dutch special from my co-commentators. Sounds somewhat concerning, but I'm sure it'll be fine. And of course, the Dutch staple. I love these things. They're absolutely fantastic. You can't really get them in the UK, so well, not good ones anyway. But like I said, we had another change for the lead. We've had Klaus Cargo back in first position there. We also have that Simtek car now right on the back. I mean right on the back of the Thrustmaster Musto car. It's looking like David's actually in danger here of losing yet another position. Not quite got that car hooked up, maybe a different strategy there, although we were thinking before that maybe he was using a little bit less fuel and going around. But now that the pit stops are all back together again, it seems that the strategy is not too strong. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Dutch special, that's weed. That's what they're saying. That's what chat's saying, it's weed. That's your Dutch special. The Simtek car now right up behind the Thrustmaster car, getting a bit of that cheeky slipstream down the straight. That'll be helping him out. Place the waffle over the coffee. Okay. Ah, there you go, it says. So welcome to Binging with Broadbent. It's a bit small, okay. Look at that. So this is now your fight for second place on screen. Luke Walsh looking not quite. David isn't going to give him the line through. They're just taking the right line through there. Interesting to see Luke follow so closely through here. Yeah, backing off a little bit there, coming into chicane. It looks like these guys are fairly similarly balanced when it comes to downforce, etc. Oh, good run out of the last chicane there by Luke. A bit tired out there by Mr. Greco alongside. Now side by side coming up to T1. I'll probably see Greco lift out of this, to be honest. He sort of lost the corner now. Well, no, is he looking even there? No, off the throttle. And then through goes the Simtech car. And back down to third place goes the Thrustmaster Mosto car. Interesting development. Did you guys learn anything while you were rolling around?
We were told some people double stinted tires and some people don't. Nobody was giving.
That's some good advice there. Some people double stint tires and some people not.
Don't, yeah.
Cool. Well, guys, thanks for that.
That's all.
That's all.
That's it. Well, not so bad, but we'll see if the Thrustmaster car comes back at all. We'll just run down the standings in case you've just joined us. Currently leading the LMP1 or LMP2 standings are Endurance Racing, number 88, with Klaus Karg at the wheel. Has been since the start of the race. Oh, that's interesting. I've just realised this, sorry, that we've had a driver change for the Thrustmaster car, who are currently sitting behind the Simtech car in second. We now have Marco Conti at the wheel. David Greco's got out. So Marco Conti now at the wheel of that Thrustmaster car. I'm not quite sure of his pace. I've heard his name before. I've heard he's a pretty quick guy, so we'll double check and see how he is once he gets into the car. Then we have the rare cars, the number 13 and number 113 rounding off the end of LMP. And then in your GT standings, we have Casper Stoltz in the Grippo car. Behind him is the Racing Room car, currently driven by Mr. Pedersen. And then in third place is Team Bernie. So Bernie's doing alright. They're standings as they start at the moment. And I'm going to use this opportunity to play a couple of ads, have my waffle, and maybe think about going to get some food. So stay tuned, guys.
Imagine a viewing experience so real. You're not only trackside, you're inside. Meet Butt Kicker, a simple wireless device that takes just seconds to install. Breakthrough technology that shakes your couch and rocks you without any additional volume. Experience the thrill of live racing at home. Go to shakemycouch.com right now to see a special offer for race fans. Don't just watch TV, feel it.
Right, so we're back. I'm now over to the right floor. I'm gonna have Marcel and Michael take over for a bit while I go find some food. That's it. Boom. Race in your hands.
Yeah.
Don't
Thank you, Jimmy, and bon appetit.
Thank you very much. Don't hit control delete. Leave that alone.
No, I will try to not touch anything.
Trust you.
Okay, bye-bye. Oh, race control says Jimmy has to come back. Thank you. I'll be going to take over here for a while. And still close in the number 88 endurance racing car first. And I forgot to ask which buttons I have to press to get another car in view. I'm looking to race control and they can't tell me also. Is it the plus button?
Want to change cars?
Yeah.
Plus or minus?
Plus or minus, okay. Oh,
In the screen.
So, yeah. Ah, thank you. We have endurance racing first in LMP class. The safety car is last, so we will come back. Simtech in P2. 6 seconds behind. Behind them is Trustmaster Mosto. 2.8 seconds behind Simtech. Behind that we have the Dutch cars of Ware. The number 13 in P4 and the number 113 in P5. Going to the GT class. First position is Grippo. Second is the number 29 race room car. P3 is Team Bernie Racing. Now getting overtaken by the leaders. EGTL. Innotek C2 number 199. Racing room number 5. Innotek C2 number 166 and 177. And Team RRC, which were unfortunate in the beginning of the race. 2 laps behind Innotek now. We will go and watch with endurance racing now. Waar staat dat wel precies achter? It seems we have a crash. Can't really see who it was. We will have a look at Rippo, who should be in the next 2 or 3 laps for their pit stop. Looks like they and Team Bernie Racing can go a bit longer than Racing Room and DGTL at the moment. As they already pitted for their second pit stop. New guy isn't watching the chat, that's right. And of course it isn't GT1, these are GT cars. Which do scream, but not as loud as GT1 cars. Sorry that we couldn't get the car backwards in the wall. Seems like the field is getting a bit stretched out, so no overtakes taking place now. Yeah, it just shows how high the skill level is here, that people don't run into each other. It's not like you're watching a random public server race. Everybody here practices a lot before the event and just has respect for each other. So you won't see any silly and dumb moves. It looks like the Ripple car is going to lap some colleagues of them. Michael said there isn't anything going on in the paddock or the sim area, so nobody has any hardware issues or...
It's a normal race so far.
Yeah.
No major accidents. Very high level. Seen on real racing, people on comment.
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting. Last year we were here, there weren't many accidents.
We weren't here last year.
The year before, there weren't that many accidents because of people getting tired. I think everybody gets a little bit of sleep to keep focused.
Yeah. You also don't see any teams anymore that only have drivers here. If you come here with 3 drivers and not having anybody in the pits, you can't have much sleep because you always have to have one in the sim and one other one awake. So you can't really sleep that long. If you are having a 4 or 5 person team, it's much easier to do that.
That's why there aren't that many falls on tiredness.
Yeah. And we see here that...
and of course every team has trained on doing long stints,
yeah.
less sleep.
There are even teams that do a full 24-hour simulation.
As a test.
As a test to see if the hardware is working correctly and is able to withstand 24 hours of racing, and
if the people self are working correctly.
Yeah, if the people self will stay awake long enough to do a 2, 3, maybe even 4 hour stint. But that only shows that the level of competition is just high, and people that come to this LAN event are prepared to do a lot to compete.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to win, of course. Yeah. But there's a nice area where if everybody can have a sleep or a power nap or whatever they want. It's outside of the area where the paddock and the simulators are, so you won't get disturbed, and of course people in sims and in the paddock won't get disturbed either from people that are sleeping.
Yep.
After Innotek C2 leaving the pit lane. You missed that. Ah. And this is the leader lapping another LMP car, one of the rare cars. I think the Grippo team will come in this lap or the next. Looking at the last pit stop they made. It was lap 18, I think it was. Yes.
Jimmy didn't try it.
No.
Don't ever average should take about 13 to
14 laps. Yeah.
So
Grippo did 2 laps more.
Did 2 laps more, so I think
And now
15,
lap
16 laps.
They are in lap 34 and still made 1 pit stop. We will stay with Grippo until the end of this lap. They pit or not. And then we will switch to the Inotech cars because they're also within 1 second of each other. Just much closer than the rest of the field. On the street, it's asked, what is Jimmy eating? I don't know. Michael had some really dinner. I haven't.
It's a mix.
It's a mix. It's some Chinese food, isn't
It's
it?
Chinese with some green stuff.
It's Chinese food and waffles, of course.
Coffee with it.
Grippo is entering the pit now. They are in lap 34 for the second pit stop. Let's have a look. These are the 2 Inotech cars, which are 1.5 seconds from each other. They're just much closer than the rest of the field. It's on average more than 10 seconds. Except the LMP class, where endurance racing is leading SimTech by 7.5 seconds. No, no. They're driving Aston Martins, not Ferraris. But it looks like the 177 car is just following the 166 car. They're getting lapped by the leaders now in LMP.
I've got a question here about how many people are taking part in this event. I think we've got 14 cars on the track. Yes, 14.
Yeah, averaging 3 drivers per
3
car.
to 4 drivers per car, which is divided into 5 LMP cars and let's see, 9
GT cars.
GT cars. Of course, the safety car, which makes 15th contestant.
Jimmy looks different, yes, he does. I wear normal shoes.
And no green trousers.
And no green trousers.
Jimmy told us we could do anything. Should we give the people a look on how calm it is right here?
Yeah. Let's have a look in the area where the sim rigs are and in the paddock. On the left hand side you see the sim rigs now. If Michael goes further to the right, to the area where spectators can watch on 2 beamers. And the tents where each team has a paddock place. A slot racetrack, a sim rig car is below. And there's a the RRC car hit the, I think it was the Master Mosto car. Getting really busy now. Even race control is very excited now. We will have a look with the Mosto car. Oh, sorry, geen gekeken. Ja. Yeah, one of the cars did push an LMP off the track. We have to take a look if somebody goes into the pits because of damages. Let me have a look at Twitter. So you were saying that there was very professional driving here and no incidents? In the last 5 minutes I think we saw 3 things that weren't really changed everything. There's nothing yet on investigations from this incident.
Most of them were fairly bare moves, small problems.
Yeah, just the unsafe rejoin I think from the GT car, the RC car that hit one of the LMP cars. But nobody is in the pit, so probably there isn't much damage.
There is a question about penalties for exceeding track limits. Do you know? I think the game decides that?
The game decides that, and I have to admit I don't know if race control is really looking at specific things. So going with 4 tires outside of the white line, the Dutch special, that Thomas called it. Usually you first get a few warnings before you get a penalty. And of course R-Factor 2 does that also by itself. Yep. You cut tracks too much.
And indeed, after 3 violations, it is a stop or go.
Go in, yeah. But I don't know if you have 1 off track after that, you will get a penalty, or it is again 3 warnings.
It's a total. In 24 hours. After 3 warnings, every crossing of the line is
a penalty.
Is another penalty.
We'll have a look at the Innotech cars, the 177 and 166, both in the pits. Doesn't really look like damage. The car went down. This is taking unusually long. Nothing weird going on in the racing area. The Sim RC car locking up a wheel when entering the corner.
Changing drivers.
Ah, okay. The Simtech is also changing drivers now. So we will go to the standings once more. In LMP we have Endurance Racing P1, followed by oh, now it's getting really interesting. The Musto car, driven by Marco Conti, 20 seconds behind. Behind them the Simtech car, still driven by Luke Walsh, who also did the start. 3 seconds behind the Musto team. followed by the 2 rare cars. Then in GT we have Grippo on P1, followed by Racing Room, number 29 car, 1 minute 20 seconds behind. And the pit stop more, looks. So I think Grippo is doing it well again.
They are doing
Like
great.
yeah,
Actually,
like we are used by them. Followed by Racing Room, 1 minute 20. Behind them is DGTL, almost a minute behind the guys from Racing Room. Then we have Racing Room number 5. In Bernie Racing, the 199 Innotech car, 177 Innotech car, 166, so every Innotech car is again on track. And last in the GT class is Team RRC. Still have no information of the incident with the unsafe rejoin of the track. I think it was by the Team RRC car. Simtech is gaining a bit on Trustmaster Mosto. And for all his fans, Jimmy is also coming back. Looks like he had a good meal. Well, it looks like he had a good meal. So I will move a seat. I kept it warm for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. How was your dinner?
Edible.
Edible.
No, that's good.
You missed something.
What did we miss?
Carnage.
Stop that. I see what you're doing.
It's commentator's curse. If Jimmy goes to breakfast tomorrow.
Everyone does, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, well, I'm back. Hello, welcome. Thank you very much to Michael and Marcel for holding the fort and causing carnage, as they say. Carnage. I think this is my one, isn't it? Yeah. I've just gone and ordered some Strepsils because my throat is killing me at the moment. But here we are, back again. So your order, as it was, as it stands at the moment, we still have Klaus Karg leading with Thrustmaster in second and Simtech in third. Klaus Karg, of course, driving the Endurance Racing 88. We haven't had a driver swap yet from Klaus or from Luke in Endurance and Simtech respectively. We had one from Thrustmaster. Marco Conti getting in for David Greco. And also Reno getting in the car. I can't say a second name. You say that?
The Meulenmeester.
Yeah, there you go.
You can do that.
Yeah, Reno's got in the car for the rare number 13. I can't see using the 113 right now because I haven't got their mark on, unfortunately. In the GT class, we can go back down to these fellas. There's still Grippo leading for now, ahead of the racing room. The number 29 car with Dave Pedersen. We now have Magnus Berggren in the car, who's got in the car for Casper Stoltz. We've had that happen now, and Casper. We had a quick word with Casper before I went and stuffed my face. He was talking about how this is Magnus's first time. This is his first time racing this event. This is his first stint driving, and that he was actually quite nervous to get into the car. Understandably,
especially when you P1.
Yeah, especially when you're in the lead. But I really think that these guys have a very strong car at the moment. I had a quick word with the guys down at DGTL before I came back up here with Alex Reese. Alex Reese will be driving the car down there, and they were saying that they're actually having disagreements about how fast they should be. Because they think the car is capable of going faster, but they don't want to start pushing it. And they're saying that despite that, that they can't seem to find that extra little bit of grip that Magnus and maybe Mr. Pedersen have. So unsure as to what they're doing there. But outside of the top three, we have Racing Room number 5, Mr. S. Hansen driving that. And to round out the top 5, you have Team Bernie, Jan Molbeck.
What is it? It's coffee.
It says coffee.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's not coffee.
Comes a bit low, maybe. I may have turned it down a bit. I think my voice is starting to go a little bit, so I'm actually gonna. Okay, so that should be a bit better. Hopefully not too loud for you guys. Oh, mistake there from Magnus Bergerin. I'm sure he's not going to be making too many more of that with old Casper Stoltz looking over his shoulder. But a sign of inexperience there. Very easy to do that at T1 because you're coming off a very fast right-hander in a GT. A lot of weight transfer going on. So getting back on the brakes can be quite tricky. But luckily around there. Okay, so we're in the period of the race now where this is how these races go. You have a sort of a lull, they come back together again, another lull, they come back together again. So far it's been fairly plain sailing. We've not seen many incidents. We've had a couple of crashes from Team RC and Illatech. The ones, I think it's the 166 that had the crash in the end. So they're a couple of laps down to where they should be. Unfortunately, the safety car is down 40 laps, so the safety car isn't going to be coming back, I'm afraid.
And winning again.
Yeah, safety car will win at some point. Yeah, the vet does look pretty slidey. I remember speaking to Casper about it. He said the setup was meant to be stable, so who knows really, but there is that.
It could also be that he wanted to go into the chicane too fast.
Yeah, possibly.
It's also off camera there, so you already have less grip than you are used to.
Sometimes it can do you good to give it the car a little bit of a slide through there, but I wouldn't recommend it over the course of a long race because your tyres will be eaten. They're saying that Magnus going very wide. There seems a little bit flustered after his earlier mistake, and probably knows he's on camera as well, so not really enjoying the criticism. Yeah, so we'll help him out. We'll do him a good job. So here are the guys in the second place in class, the racing room. So currently Mr. Pedersen at the wheel of that thing. Best laps so far. This is an interesting thing to go down. So let's go through the top 3 best laps in GT. The best one, as you'd expect, belongs to Ripper. It's a 57.0, which is quicker than their qualifying time so far, which is ridiculous. Then we have a 57.4 from Racing Room, and then after that, it's a 59.8 from GGTL. So it seems that the top 2 sort of have the bit between their teeth, but then not so much for third place. But this race isn't about a sprint.
It's about who is there.
Yeah, it's about who's there at the end. I always say 24-hour races are just preparation for the last stint.
Yeah.
Or you
just trying to keep in the same lab as the leader in your class.
It's that really boring phrase, you've got to be in it to win it. Yeah. You can't just go a million mile out at the start, wreck the car, and then wonder why you're not in it at the end to win. So, we're talking about setups here. Interesting comment there from Major Hobbit saying that people have different ideas of what is loose or what is a slidey setup. Which is a very interesting, because, well, we talk about feel a lot in sim racing, but feel is very subjective. You know, of course, we talk about how we experience the feeling of something. So that's where things like telemetry come in handy, because telemetry is a objective object. You know, you look at it and go, okay, here is the stat for throttle, here is the stat for where you're braking, and then you can all look at that together and have the same input of that. That's why this event is pretty damn cool, because down currently in all the I guess the hospitality areas for the team sheds as they call them, they've got their telemetry up. I can see a lot of people watching telemetry right now on each screen, just making sure the car is doing all the good things, and of course that is good for helping set up the car as well. Someone's got a sofa down there.
Yeah.
They've got a sofa.
You have to be comfy.
Where's
Maybe there's somebody that doesn't go to sleep and only has to come with you.
Where's our sofa? I demand a sofa.
That's something for next year. I will come and broadcast if I have a sofa.
If I have a sofa. White t-shirt guy is Marcel from Virtual Motorsport. I'm reading out off your top there. And he's taken part in this race a couple of times before. He's here as a commentator today, so pretty cool to have him here and get his experience of the race. I'm trying to think. We're due a driver swap soon for Klaus, I think, at the top. Although I remember back in the days in the Virtual Endurance Championship when he raced in that, we'd see him go for a long time before pitting in. I'm not sure if we can have the knowledge on that at all, but
I think he will do 3, maybe 4 stints. He's already in his 3rd stint now, so.
Okay, so yeah, I mean that's not really. I'd say that about 4 hours is what is the most I can drive in a row. After that, your wrists start to ache, you start to ache. It's very difficult to get involved in that sort of thing. So that's where that's the drugs that come in handy.
Yeah, and it's probably wiser to do less stints now and maybe do longer stints in the night.
Yes, that can help as well because there's a different atmosphere at night when you're racing. It's a bit of a different atmosphere. It isn't quite the same as just going around in the day. It feels a little bit more relaxed. I think maybe it's just the lack of light helps out a little bit, and of course as well when we do have the day-night hours come in, we dim the lights here as well. So it's dim for our drivers for that super immersive effect.
Yeah.
Anyone there giving massages to the teams? No. Not at the moment. Although maybe one day we'll get that. The gap to the 89 to the 29 is currently at just over, it's 1 minute and 20 seconds at the moment, so there's quite a gap. The closest gap on track actually is between Thrustmaster and Simtek, so we'll go to that right now. There's Simtek. And there's Thrustmaster. Top 3 has been pretty close throughout the race so far. Now we've got Klaus pulling away a little bit. But Simtek and Thrustmaster have been pretty toe-to-toe for the most of this.
And maybe they are double stinting tyres this stint. And
being told that Magnus here is actually losing quite a bit of time in our first place GT car. 89 car, and his last lap was a 4:03.4, and compared to the cars around him, he's lost 3 seconds last lap to the racing room car. So that gap will be coming down, I think, but hopefully he won't allow himself to be put under too much pressure there. The guys in chat, if you've just joined us, hello, welcome. My name's Jimmy Broadbent. I am your main host today. I'm joined by Marcel at the moment in his very lovely virtual motorsport shirt. And today we are broadcasting the GTR 24 hours all the way from lovely grey Denmark. It's not sunny. I was saying that I've not been outside today. I've not seen any sunlight today. I've just been inside my cage. This is an event that takes part once every year. Been going for the last 10 years. I think of it basically as a massive LAN party. We've got all these guys down there with their rigs right now, all driving against each other, and the teams in a separate area looking at telemetry and passing on information to the drivers. Very cool experience. The only event like it in the world. So if you are enjoying the stream, are interested maybe in being part of this, then go over to Facebook and go search for GTR24, like the page, or go over to the website. You can see that in the top right hand corner of your screen, and get involved. Local clock in this race. Yeah, I think it's the same clock as the one we're running now. So we're coming up to nearly 7 PM at the moment. We're 10 to 7. I think we are running the same clock in the game. So we're planning at around 8 o'clock, which is about an hour and 10 minutes. We're planning to drag you back down to the area down there and get some more driver interviews. Try and get hold of some of the team. Try and go poke some people, not without driving, of course, but try and just showcase a bit more so you guys can understand the scale of this event. We did show it at the start of the stream, of course. It's sort of changed a bit since then because we've popped into this now, new stream, etc. But we'll go down and do it again and give you guys a tour of the event. If there's anything that you're interested in personally, guys, then feel free to ask over in the chat. That's what the chat is there for. It could be a very rare opportunity here where we're able to interact with the people who are watching this stream. possibly ask any questions you may have about the event or about cars, etc. Of course, we have our knowledge. It isn't a comprehensive knowledge, but it's a knowledge nonetheless. I've noticed Team RRC are back out the pits. Then we have Morton Frost in the car. Or was it Frost Morton? Which round it is. But a driver change there for Team RRC, who are currently 9 laps down the lead and 4 laps down on their closest rival. So not having a good run so far, RRC, but still in the race, which is important. Yeah, you get a penalty for hitting another car if it's a bad contact. The stewards will look at it. I'm not paid with beers, no. I wouldn't be still awake if I was. Getting me in the safety car. There's no reason for it at the moment. Plus, I have to sort of run away and hook myself up to do that. So probably not. Maybe we'll get a lap at the end or something, lap at the end of the race in the safety car. But right now, I'm pretty much dedicated to being here. No LMP1s, because no LMP1s in this mod. We're using the eRacing mod, which is LMP2 and GT. There are 5 LMP1s, but that's just the class that is most... GTs are the most popular class, so that's why we have that and that. And LMPs are usually a bit harder to get the ultimate performance out of, because you have so much downforce to utilise. So that's probably the reason why you get a little less... bit less participation in that class. Silver One says greetings, Marcel.
Greetings back.
Yeah. You're obviously known by someone who's watching this at the moment. We are getting up to 170 minutes completed, which is nearly 3 hours. 180, of course, being the 3-hour mark, which will leave us with 21 hours to go. And it's about now you realise just how long 24 hours is. I've been sitting there. I've been broadcasting today for about 8 hours at this point. Really 3 hours into this race. So I'm not sure when my sleep break is going to be, but it will be at whenever I feel tired. Probably try and catch some sleep during the night. We'll leave it there and come back afterwards. But sleep isn't the problem. It's for me. It's more my throat right now. It wouldn't be as difficult if I wasn't commentating, but hey ho, I am. And coughing doesn't help. No. Let's check back in with Magnus now, because we saw Magnus was struggling a bit before on pace. Oh, hello. These cars aren't fighting though, but it was good to see them close together on the circuit. Magnus in the Grippo car, still a better lap this time, a 4:01.4, but still losing out just under a second from Racing Room and with Jay Peasant behind him. Magnus going very wide there. Just seems to be pushing the car a little bit too hard now. I think he needs to just rein it in a little bit. He's got a big gap. There's a very long time left in this race to go. Just got to find a little bit of chill and go from there.
The gap seems to stay at 1:20.
So the gap isn't coming down too fast, and again, it's a big gap as it is at the moment now. So, but
and last time around, lap times were almost equal. And this lap he's almost 1 second faster.
The closest battle on track is still this one between our second and third place in LMP. This is the third place car, Simtech car, coming across an Aston Martin.
In the Porsche curves.
Yeah, during the Porsche curves. And round the outside there, that's how you want to do that. Believe in the downforce, it will probably stop you. There you go, along with it. But that will be probably about a second lost there for the LMP car. You really have to give a lot of time to the GTs through there, especially when the LMPs, because you just... Oh, and saying that, in comes the Simtech car into the pits. I'm not
44.
Yeah, that 44.
Oh, endurance racing also.
Endurance. Okay, so interesting. Again, we're seeing the Thrustmaster car with a longer first stint. It seems they're sort of blocking it in stints of 2. Because last time we had the Thrustmaster car come in quite late on its first stint, and then pretty much on pace with everyone else on the second stint. Maybe we're seeing that same thing happen again.
And maybe a driver change.
Yes, possibly.
There's a driver change.
Okay, so we have Pergvist now in the car for the 88 endurance machine. So there's been a driver swap. Klaus Karg finally getting out of the car, having a little bit of a break now, well-deserved break, I imagine. I wonder if we're going to see the same for Luke Walsh here in the Simtek car. Will he go again? Yep, I think he's just got out of the car. I think I'm just seeing him. Yeah, I think we're seeing Shane Burke get into the car now. Can't see them changing it in there, but I can see him getting in the car in the pit lane. So driver swap as well for the number 42. Giving a well-deserved break to those eyes and legs. Driver swap adds a little bit of time on the pit lane as well. So you sort of want to make sure you don't overdo it on the driver swap. You just do it when you need to do it. It adds about 20 seconds or so usually, depending on the mod, of course. And out goes Shane. He hasn't updated this thing on the live timing, but I can see it's him in the car. I think it's him anyway. Trying to see his boots. I know he's got some green boots. Where is that Thrustmaster car? Okay, so I'm interested to see if these guys are going to pit this lap, or they're going to do a repeat of what they did before, of just sort of coming in towards the latter half of the first stint. I don't know, Joe. Actually, I'm not sure they're having to shut off the engines during the stop. I haven't gone down and asked about that. Although I do remember that being a thing in VOR. Yeah, I didn't have a beard when the stream started. I've got a beard now.
That's how long you're already doing.
Yeah, I've been here forever. Why aren't I driving with 6-axis? Because I'm not driving. I can commentate at 6-axis. Yeah, there you go. Driver swaps don't cost time when using the same rig. Well done, Jimmy.
Yeah, of course.
As they wouldn't in real life either, I suppose. But I'm so used to doing it online. That's what makes this event so special. Special is that we're not online. We're all in the same spot. So basically, what happened down there is that Luke got out of the car, and then got out of the seat, and Shane got back into it, and that was it. Driver swap complete. Adjust the seat a little bit for short legs, if you're me, and then go from there. Oh, hello. There's a spinner there. Team RRC nearly actually caught up our leader, Thrustmaster. So, have a look down the RRC car. I can't see who's driving that right now, but I'm not sure if there was contact with the wall at all there. Easy way to find out is to have a look and see if they're going to come into the pits. They aren't, no. So, a bit of a scary moment there for Marco Conti. I'm sure he had a little bit of a tense moment in the cockpit there, but managed just to keep alive just about. So the Thrustmaster car, Marco Conti, still not coming into the pits, so I'm going to have to assume that they're running a bit longer on this first time around. Have to keep an eye on that. We have had Endurance Racing come in, Perkovist in the car there, and Shane Burke now has put up his driver name on our live timing, so just to confirm it was Shane Burke. I switched into the car there. We trying to see if we have any more driver swaps during this time. Not so much. Well, Henrik Hoyer in the car, Michael Slot in the car for Innertech C2, Michael Kastrup in the car for Innertech C2 116 car, and of course the safety car driver still sitting in the car like a good boy. Thrustmaster, the gap. This is Thrustmaster, and then we see this is a second place car just coming under the Dunlop Bridge right now. Now, Thrustmaster is still yet to pit, which is sort of the interesting thing. I don't really understand how they can go so much longer. I'm not sure if the fuel boost really has such an effect on fuel, but I guess maybe it does.
Syntech, the pit scan. Did they just pit?
No, Simtech coming back in.
Oh, it's a drive-through. Ah, okay. It's a drive-through.
Well,
We should check Twitter.
what was the drive-through for?
Causing collision out of
Okay, so there you go then. Simtech were given a penalty for causing a collision, having to serve a drive-through there, which sort of puts them back a little bit. Classic LMP on GT, yeah, okay. It's only because this chair is. I've been sitting in this chair for the last 8 hours or so, so it's hard to find somewhere that's 100% comfy. But we'll get there.
There comes the dinner.
Yeah, here comes some more. Yeah, this is interesting. Weaving each other in a straight line there, trying to. I don't know why that was happening. Got that. I'm gonna very quickly just grab something out of my bag. Give me 2 seconds. Oh.
Still not in.
No, yeah, Thrustmaster's still going around.
It's also if you drive 2 laps a stint longer. It's the first stint is 2 laps later. Second stint is 4 laps later. Third stint is 6 laps later.
I guess they're just, okay. Yeah, they're really putting themselves out of sync here, and hopefully they're aiming to save. Of course, if you save, what was it, 14 laps on that, that's a pit stop save then.
Yeah, that's a pit stop save. Yeah.
So that's what they're trying to do, just shorten the amount of time the amount of pit stops they've got to take to get to the end of the race. Keeping one eye on this Thrustmaster car. I'm unsure where they're going to come out here. I'm unsure if... What sort of lap times is Pergovis doing? I'm running quite a bit slower than...
45s.
Yeah, that's quite a big chunk of time less there.
But he also has a gap to Syntech now, because of the stop and go.
Yeah, we'll see what Shane Burke does. I know Shane Burke was... he qualified on a fairly decent time. I think it was a 37.9 in the end. So we know he's got some pace in the car. Just wondering if he can deliver it or not now, having been a little bit maybe riled by the drive-through penalty those guys have. That was the causing contact of a GT car. Yep, this is called GTR 24 because it started in GTR 2. And moved its way very slowly over to RF2. This is the 10th anniversary of this event. Of course, we have lots of people all around this this venue, all sitting down in the hall, all driving away.
One of the rare cars is answering the pit.
Okay, yeah, so we've got the one of our rare cars in the pits there, but the thing is with the rare cars, they're not really in any sort of contention right now. It's just fourth and fifth for them at the moment. But doesn't need to be going a million billion miles an hour, and in comes Thrustmaster. Was that 6 laps in the end? We will see.
I think Endurance Racing was in lap 42 or 43. So.
This is who we've got to keep an eye on now, is Per Gvist in this number 88. And will he actually come back? Will he come back and get back past Marco Conti? My guess is probably not, seeing as his lap times haven't been 100% where they really need to be to pop back into the lead of this race. But we'll keep an eye on it as they go around. So it's about to come through the Porsche curves now. Marco's still stationary. We'll see what sort of pit stop he's doing. I'm going to guess probably a full service, given how they usually do it. He's never a shorter or a longer first than a full service and a shorter first. And already away actually is Marco Conti there. And Per Gvist is not going to be anywhere near him. Going to have Marco Conti